Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. So before we did the 11 to 12 block, I realized that I missed an ending, so we're just gonna do that real quick. Let's approach the girl. Sorry, just a second. Okay. So this is when Achi gets arrested. I overlooked it. So, now what kind of person makes a young lady lug around something heavy like that? Achi figured he'd offer to carry it for her. The girl kept shifting her grip. It was clearly a strain for her to keep holding the case, but she didn't set it down. Whatever was inside, it had to be something pretty important. Achi made his way over to her, bristling inwardly at whoever had left her waiting like this. If I were you, I'd bust the head of the punk that's kept you waiting. Huh? That thing looks heavy. Let me carry it for you. The girl stared back at Achi with wide eyes, but said nothing. Really, I'm happy to help. I'm not going to steal it or anything. His tone was hurried, and he impulsively reached for the attaché case. An instant later, a group of men descended on him from all sides. Oh, hey, what the hell? For an instant, Achi froze, unable to process just what was happening. He tried to run, but the men shoved him unceremoniously to the ground and held him there. They were shouting about something or other, but he couldn't make out their words. The more he tried to struggle, the harder they held him down. What the hell is this? You can tell us that down at the precinct. A man in a suit knelt alongside him, flashing a police badge. Ugh, you're arresting me? The heck did I even do? Instead of answering, they shoved Achi into the back seat of a patrol car. He gazed dejectedly out the window. He could still see the girl. She didn't have the case anymore. Now she was talking to a man with a cane. Was he the person she'd been waiting for? A moment later, the car turned the corner and the two of them slipped out of view. Achi slumped back in his seat, sulking and silent. Several hours passed. After a bunch of pointless questioning, the police finally determined he was innocent, and his father came to pick him up. For a long while, Achi just stared intently out the window of the car. Finally, his father caught his attention. The old man seemed to be in a surprisingly good mood despite having to collect his son from the jailhouse. Achi, there's something I want to talk to you about. If it's about me taking over the shop, now is not the time, okay? No, it's not that. Look, let's just get home first. Sure, don't feel like going out today anyway. But now I'm curious. What do you want to talk about? I got some good news. I think you'll be pleased. I'm not sure I like the sound of that. Please don't tell me you're getting remarried or something. Dad, I really don't like the sound of that. And so began a very long conversation. Arrested. I was just trying to be nice. Okay, there we go. So that's all the bed endings for the first 10 to 11 block. Okay, I want out of here. Do I have to go through the whole thing again? Hold on. Well, shoot. Okay, sorry, hold on. Uh, Where is what's the deal at? Just go here, I guess. No, I don't think this is right. Or maybe, I thought I could just jump back to the 11 block, but no. Am I gonna have to do that, father thing again? Couldn't shake the feeling. Do 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 do. Please, box. Is there like a faster skip button? Doesn't look like it. Ugh. to talk about? I guess I can say that I'm considering streaming Fortnite on here. To, you know, try to gain more of an audience and stuff. I'm not very good at it. My shooting is kind of bad. And I have no idea what to do, like with the building all fast and stuff. Like, no, I can't do that. You know, like put a floor down, put stairs, and do wall and just all this stuff. So, recently my friend was like, okay, let's do no build mode. So I've been playing that lately, and it's a lot easier for me. So yeah, I might stream a little here and there, depending. I don't know if, like, maybe I could play with whoever's watching, maybe? I don't know. Since, you know, people like to do the play with viewers thing. There's also this Splatfest going on in Splatoon 3, which is the best day of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I love Shiver, so I always pick her team, but I was gonna go with Friday regardless. So hopefully Shiver wins again. Wait. Previous time block. Standing there was the man with the cane, his revolver in his hand. The man with the cane aimed his gun at Hitomi, his face devoid of emotion. Please, the girl said, trembling. Why are you doing this? But the man did not reply. Quickly, Achi stepped in between Hitomi and the gun, spreading his arms wide. Stop, he said in English, one of the few English words he knew. He quickly reverted back to Japanese. Who the hell are you? Still, the man did not respond. You know this guy, Hitomi? No. Achi was sure he'd never seen the man either. What are you after, money? 'Cause if you are, boy, are you wasting your time chasing us. The man furrowed his brow, adjusting his point of aim to Achi's face. His bloodthirsty gaze left Achi no doubt that he was willing to pull the trigger. Reflexively, Achi took a step back, his foot clattering against a discarded beer bottle. We're going to get gunned down for sure, unless we can find some way to catch this guy off guard. It didn't need to be much. If Achi could just distract the gunman for a moment, buy himself the briefest window. Shoot me then. Go on, do it. He stepped forward as he shouted, hoping the provocation would confuse the guy for just long enough. Even as Achi moved, the gunman's attention was distracted for an instant by a sudden sound. The phone in his breast pocket was ringing. Seeing his chance, Achi... Where am I? Grabbed Hitomi and ran. Hitomi! Achi grabbed Hitomi and ran. He charged the man in the doorway, kicking at the cane he leaned on. The assassin lost his balance and stumbled to the left. Run! Still holding Hitomi's hand, Achi rushed out of the club. The two sprinted away through the side streets and alleys of Shibuya. Achi began to feel as if they were running some maddening maze. Before long, the two had made it almost as far as Ayama. Wait up. Huh? Wait up! Huh? Achi, wait up! Achi glanced back at Hitomi. My bad. Guess we've been running pretty hard. You tired? Hitomi shook her head. No, it's just, I have to get to Dogenzaka. Dogenzaka? What for? What could she possibly need to do there now? That's what I was told when I handed over the Itachi case. The man leaned in to whisper to Hitomi as he reached out for the case. You're going to do exactly as I tell you. 2 things. He wore a cool, feigned smile, as if this were some casual conversation. First, you're going to go to Dogenzaka and get in the blue van there. Hitomi nodded wordlessly. Second, you will not attempt to contact either the police or your family in the meantime. His chilling tone brooked no argument. Just those 2 things, and we'll let your sister go. Hitomi nodded again. The man flashed her a big, bright grin. Okay then. Give me the money. A blue van in Dogenzaka, huh? Achi muttered. So that's why you said the police were a no-go? Yes, exactly. Hitomi's voice betrayed her desperation. I wonder if your sister's in that van, then. If she is, then we gotta hurry. The issue lay in how to get to Dogenzaka. They could probably avoid their pursuer if they kept to streets only the locals usually knew about. That meant staying off the more well-trafficked routes like Roppongi Dori or the stretch between Yamazuzaka and the station. The side roads south of the station were the best bet. It was going to be a long detour. Alright, come on. Turning, Achi headed back the way they came. After a moment's confusion, Hitomi followed. Achi? There was a note of worry in her voice. Hey, don't sweat it. I actually live in Dogenzaka. We're heading right back to my old neighborhood. Hitomi bowed her head. Thank you so much. Hey, it's no problem. I had to head home anyway. Achi gave her a grin and she cracked a tiny smile of her own. Hey, you two. You got a minute? Achi looked around. A pair of men approached from across the street. There was something shady looking about them. Achi's protective instincts kicked in and he stepped in front of Hitomi. If these guys meant trouble, he wanted to be ready. We just want to ask you something. The younger of the 2 men drew in closer, a sharp gleam in his eye. Achi braced himself. Ask us what? You know where the Nokane building is? The man held up a flyer. It was for some sort of health food sales demo. Come on, man, the Nokane building? You know where it is or not? Achi knew the name. Wasn't that one of the buildings on Center Guy? That was near Dogenzaka, the same direction he was going. I don't like the thought of these two following. Hitomi and me. She pointed them in opposite direction from Center Guy. Pretty sure it's that way, he said. Thanks, man. Sorry to bug ya. The two men headed off toward the main road. Achi and Hitomi hurried onward, following the sparsely trafficked side streets toward Dogenzaka. I don't think I even knew this part of Shibuya was here, Hitomi said as she looked around. Yeah, a lot of people don't. I used to mess around this neighborhood when I was a kid. The area was a mishmash of run-down residences and office buildings. Almost nobody ever comes here unless they live or work on one of these streets. And check it out, over there. A rare first-hand glimpse of the Shibuya River. Ooh. Have you always lived in Shibuya, Achi? Yep, born and raised. Achi bent down to pick up a piece of trash from the roadside. That's why I do this. It just pisses me off to see folks make a mess of this place. He picked up another piece of trash. I don't have a job, so I just pick up garbage every day. Man, what am I even doing? Like, cleanup even matters right now. Hitomi took a long, hard look at his face. What? He demanded. What is it? You're a strange one, Achi. That's so? She was right, of course. It was sort of strange, collecting trash every day instead of getting a job. He had his reasons for it, but they weren't important right now. Right now, the important thing was getting Hitomi to Dogenzaka. Come on, he murmured. A sudden angry shout broke the silence as they hurried along. Hey, hold it right there. Achi and Hitomi stopped, but the shout wasn't directed at them. Further up the road, a group of thuggish-looking men were having some kind of argument. The man who was shouting had grabbed one of the others by the neck. Idiots, and you still got the gall to call yourself SOS? Studs of Shibuya. No. I mean, yeah, Suzumu, but... The other men standing around looked distinctly uncomfortable. It takes money to run an organization. No, I know, and since it's not like you're Achi or nothing, I thought you could maybe spare some help on that front, boss. Top dog, Hitomi looked at Achi when the stranger spoke his name. He smiled awkwardly, then turned back to the altercation. Shut your mouth, Suzumu barked. How dare you say Achi's name in my presence? Hey, Achi called out. What was that about me? As soon as they saw him, the other men went pale. Achi kept his tone casual as he strolled up to the group. Suzumu, you can't just give the guy a beatdown in broad daylight. Don't want to shock the upstanding people of our fair city. Achi, Suzumu glared. Can we drop the pleasantries? Achi replied with a hint of a sneer. You got it, Suzumu. And I'd like to point out that we're not on a first-name basis. With that, Suzumu turned and stalked away. His buddies followed suit, leaving Achi and Hitomi alone again. Did you know that guy? Hitomi asked. His name's Suzumu Nishizawa. And yeah, I know him. Or I thought I did. Used to be friends way back. Me and those guys were all part of the same crew, but I bailed a little while ago. Achi fell silent. To his great relief, Hitomi didn't pry further. She and Hitomi had gone a short distance further when he caught sight of a man picking something up alongside the train tracks. Huh, I wonder. She went over to him. Hey man, you picking up trash by any chance? Huh? The man let out a panicked shout. Taisei Yasuda. No. Sorry, it just kinda looked like that's what you were doing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm picking up trash, of course. The guy seemed pretty unnerved. Like, I just got to thinking, man, this place is filthy. Right on! Achi clasped the man's hand in his own. Someone else who gets it. They do? Totally. I see all this trash all over the place and I can't stand it. Yeah, sure. The man breathed a sigh of relief. I can't stand it when someone throws something away when it could still be useful. I hear that. That's the spirit. Achi pulled out the trash he had stuffed in his pocket. Here you go. Huh? Go ahead, have all of it. The man looked dumbfounded. Usually I go around picking up the trash around here, but I've got a little thing I gotta do today. You got it from here. I'm counting on you. What? Actually, I'm kind of... Great, thanks. Achi beamed in approval, then rejoined Hitomi and headed on down the street. The man let out a sigh. Fine. Slipping through a narrow back alley, they came out near the top of Dogenzaka. Achi looked down the hill, but didn't see a blue van anywhere. He and Hitomi started making their way down toward Shibuya Station. Hitomi muttered to herself. I don't see a park around here. Her face twisted up with worry. It was a lot harder to find street parking closer to the station. Hitomi, hold up. Achi had a sudden idea. He darted into a nearby soba restaurant, motioning for Hitomi to follow. Heya! He called out to the proprietress, a sharp-eyed, middle-aged woman. You're looking as lovely as ever today, I see. Oh, Achi! Are you done collecting trash for the day? The lady took a look at Hitomi, her eyes lighting up. Maki Yoneda. When she was 19... Oh no, her husband... Is this your girlfriend? No, it's nothing like that. The proprietress was undeterred. Oh, she looks just like a bottle. She's the spitting image of me at that age. My. Achi's got himself a girlfriend. I said it's not like that. The woman waved Hitomi over. Now, you know Achi's got a bit of a mouth on him, and he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's a sweet boy. Okay? Hitomi forced a polite smile to her face. He'll try to deny it, but don't you listen. Has he told you about Suzune? Huh? Ma'am, please. Achi jumped in on the conversation. You're gonna hear me out. Whatever's the matter, I'm just trying to talk up your good points. Have you seen a van parked around here? A van? Let me think. Yes, come to think of it, there was. A blue one, she added confidently. Hitomi leaned forward. Where is it now? She asked. Well, I'm not really sure. I don't keep a close eye on things outside, after all. Hitomi slumped. I see. I know it doesn't look it, but I've been quite busy today. The man who makes my noodles came by earlier to settle accounts, and we fought and fought over it. No head for finances, that one. That's his problem, honestly. And on top of that, of course my part-timer Masa has to have today off. Honestly. Delivery driver. Girlfriend. Uchi frowned. Had she really seen a blue van, or was she just being chatty? Tobacco. Older women who ran tobacco shops or noodle houses did seem to have a knack for spotting details. Achi decided to follow up some more. Was there anything unusual about this van? Well, let me think. The woman frowned, pausing a moment in thought. Ah! A flash of recollection shone in her eye. That's right, now I remember. I think there was some foreigner sitting inside. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances. Yes, I'm sure of it. The man who makes my noodles said he saw it too. Was there anything else? Hitomi asked. No, not that I can remember. Hitomi hung her head in frustration as they left the soba shop. Achi did his best to cheer her up. Hey, we might still find the car. Let's try waiting around here for a while. Just waiting? What good will that do? It's possible that they went looking for you when you didn't show, Achi said. Maybe they'll come back, you know? He sat down on the edge of a planter outside the restaurant. But the criminals already have the money, she said anxiously. Even Achi understood the implications. Now that the crooks had the ransom, their hostage was nothing but a liability. Why take the risk of letting her go when they already had what they wanted? The situation was bad, very bad. Still, just running around Shibuya willy-nilly was only going to tire and frustrate them. Achi wanted to make sure Hitomi had the chance for a little break. We don't have anywhere else to look, so let's just give it 10 minutes, okay? He said. Hitomi seemed unconvinced. She looked like she might just march off down Dogenzaka at any moment. I understand how you must feel, but you know what they say. Slow and steady, stay in pace. Stay in place. Hitomi burst out laughing. Huh, what's so funny? It's slow and steady wins the race. For real? Hitomi smiled, then sat down beside him. Alright, she said. We can wait here for 10 minutes. Cool. We've run enough races today already, right? Hitomi kept her eyes on the cars passing through Dogenzaka for a while. Then she murmured softly to Achi. Thank you so much for everything. Really. You can thank me after we find this van. I'm sure if I had been by myself, I'd have been in too much of a panic to do anything. What can I say? I try to keep my head up and face things as they come. You're quite the optimist, aren't you? Achi grinned. He tried to recall what optimist meant. He was pretty sure it had something to do with doctors or maybe glasses. The shy, sweet look on Hitomi's face as she said it, though, made him figure it probably wasn't a bad thing, whatever it was. Cars drifted on by, one after the other. But they saw no sign of a blue van. After a while, even Achi began to grow impatient. This was starting to feel like a waste of time. And then... Hitomi, look! There it was. A keep out sign. Okay, let me... Do I have to do Osawa again? What? I... Oh. Let me just do this real quick. Precise. So I went a little out of order here, but that's probably fine. Okay, this is different. Hold on, what? I'll come back to that. Is it this part? It says I have it, but, da, 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 da. Give me a second. I don't know, it's just like confusing sometimes because like you'll do the same thing but something different will happen, like that banana thing. Like, in the first block, I think it said when you had bad endings, but maybe I not remembering that correctly. I don't know, this game's weird. Dodo. Close his eyes. I guess it's different. I'll come back to this later then. Strange. Okay, what? Kano. Where? Kano at this, I guess? As he wandered through the back alleys, Kano gritted his teeth. Going after the guy on the bike had been a bad judgment call. By the time he got back up onto the pedestrian overpass, the man who'd thrown the attaché case was almost out of sight. Kano prided himself on being fleet of foot, but he knew even he would never catch the guy before he disappeared. He'd followed the culprit as far as the alleys, but there he'd lost him completely. All he could do now was hope one of his colleagues caught the man on the motorcycle. Kusei's voice crackled through the earpiece. Mobile Command Center calling all units. The suspect on the motorcycle has handed off the case to an accomplice in Miyashita Park, another foreigner. For real? Kano muttered. One thing immediately struck him as strange. Why hand the case off to someone else at all? Why not just escape on the bike? The man with the motorcycle dumped the bike and fled on foot. We've retrieved the bike and run the plate, and we determined it was a stolen vehicle. We still don't have enough details to positively ID the suspect. The suspect now carrying the attaché case is heading through Dogenzaka, also on foot. We've got him under observation. Dogenzaka, huh? That wasn't too far from where Kano was now. Looks like we're dealing with a foreign crime syndicate that's familiar with Shibuya. All units head to Dogenzaka. But do not, I repeat, do not attempt to apprehend the suspect with the case. Let's see where he goes. Kano nodded to himself. Without knowing more about the crook's MO, letting this guy go for now was probably the only right call. I just want you all to know one last thing. Kuze's tone grew more solemn. Whatever happens, I know I can count on you. I can count on each and every one of you. Don't disappoint me. Over and out. Kano had the unsettling feeling that the message had been meant for him. Right, it's now or never. The sudden appearance of this syndicate and its bizarre actions were rapidly moving things beyond the jurisdiction of both the MPD and the local police. Mustering his resolve, Kano headed for Dogenzaka. Kano pulled his cell phone out of his pocket. It was Rumi calling. She knew full well he wasn't supposed to take private calls while he was working a case. Maybe it was an emergency. He decided to pick up. Rumi? I'm sorry. Are you in the middle of something right now? Kind of. Is this an emergency? Well, yeah. So I'm in Shibuya right now, and... Shibuya? Why did she have to be in Shibuya now, of all times? So, my father came down from Nagano all of a sudden. What? Rumi's father, Shizuo, had been staunchly opposed to the two of them getting married. Kano had visited his home many times, but the man had never even deigned to meet him. Yeah, he told me to tell you he wants to meet with you. What, now? Kano blurted the words out with more alarm than he intended. I told him you were busy working, but he said he'd wait. This can't be happening, Kano whimpered to himself. I'm sorry, I know he can be demanding. That's not the issue. Her dad offering to wait made it harder for him to refuse. Alright, Kano said. But I'll have to call you back later, okay? I really am sorry. I'll be at a cafe called The Trek. It's by the train station. Rumi hung up. For a long moment, Kano stood in a daze, staring at his phone. As if keeping up with the case wasn't stressful enough. At last he stumbled into motion, but even as he scoured Dogenzaka for any sign of the criminal, his mind remained fixed on the meeting with Rumi's dad. There was no way of knowing when he'd be done with the casework today. But could he really pass up a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get her father's approval for her hand in marriage? Maybe he could slip away for just a bit. There were plenty of detectives still tailing the suspect. Taking 15 minutes or so to meet with Shizuo wouldn't be such a big deal, would it? Yes, it's a big deal. No, I have a job to focus on. No, right now I've got a job to focus on. Kano shook his head to clear out the foolish impulses. What the hell had he been thinking? A girl's life was on the line. Marrying Rumi was more important to him than anything, but now wasn't the time. Besides, now that he thought about it, running out on a critical investigation to meet with the old man probably wasn't going to score him any points. Rumi's dad didn't strike him as someone who'd approve of shirking one's responsibilities. Kano would just have to wrap up this kidnapping case a little ahead of schedule, then he could have a proper sit-down with Shizuo. As he considered his plan, he caught sight of the man with the attaché case walking by. Further up along Dogenzaka, in the direction the perp was headed, was where Yamate Dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with a getaway car. No, wait, hold on. If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? Kano started tailing the man, racking his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't heading toward Yamate Dori or Route 246 at all, but back toward Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? It was starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigation team. Kano radioed Kusei on the wireless. Sir, I don't think there's any point in seeing where this guy leads us anymore. It's not your call to make. Keep watching him. Sir, this is a waste of time. That girl might be in danger if... Kano's argument was cut short as he saw the man hand off the attaché case to yet another foreigner. Again? How many times were these criminals going to pull this trick? The detectives broke into two groups to follow both of the men. Kano followed the man with the attaché case, eventually led him back to the area around Shibuya Station. Rumi and Shizuo should be waiting at a nearby cafe right now. Kano tried to remember the name. That's right, it was called La Trek. Probably saying that wrong. He kept his eye out for a place by that name as he tailed the target. Before long, he did spot the cafe. Its large plate glass window offered a view of the cozy interior. The sign out front read La Trek. Looked like this was the place. The man with the case was at the intersection, waiting for the light to change. Kano took the opportunity to peer inside. He spotted Rumi right away. She was facing away from him. So the man seated across from her must be her father. Kano realized he'd never even seen a picture of him. Shizuo grew organic produce up in Nagano nowadays. Until 2 years ago, he'd been a detective with the investigation division. Murder, kidnap, arson... Rumi looked up to her father for his distinguished police career, and always spoke quite highly of him. Kano had figured that if he became a policeman, Rumi might appreciate that. It was this simple impulse that had led him to join the force. He had also figured that public servants could stay afloat even in times of recession, and that his physical training would serve him well in such a line of work. Once he was a policeman, he thought, he could approach Shizuo with his head held high and ask for his blessing in marrying his daughter. But after Rumi graduated from university, Shizuo had up and retired from police work. Even Rumi didn't know why he made the decision. Kano had traveled to Nagano many times to ask Shizuo for permission to marry her. But the only response he ever got was, "I'm not giving away my daughter to any cop." Kano had never even gotten past the intercom before her father turned him away. Years on the force had nearly made Kano lose sight of what had driven him to become a policeman in the first place. And now, the chance to meet Shizuo face to face had finally come. He peered intently into the cafe. Across from Rumi sat an older man with a grim expression. Just who was this hard-faced fellow? It took a lot to rattle Kano, but the guy looked scary. Could this really be his sweet little roomie's father? The prospect of meeting with him later filled Kano with sudden dread. The man went into the JR's Shibuya station and stood before the ticket machine. It looked like he was planning on boarding a train. A scene from a popular movie about a kidnapping sprang into Kano's mind, where the crook had made off with the ransom money after it was tossed out the window of a train. What if this guy managed to get outside the dragnet and pull a stunt like that? It looks like the suspect's going to board a train. Kano informed Kuze over the wireless. Make sure you stay on his tail. Apparently, Kuze still wanted to string the perp along for a bit. We've got the lizards ready to pursue. Motorcycle. We'll re-establish our dragnet around whatever station he gets off at. The man purchased a ticket from the machine and passed through the gate. There was no way to tell what station he'd bought a ticket for, but it looked like he was heading clockwise along the Yamanote line loop. Kano used his prepaid card and made his way through the ticket gate as well. An announcement chime signaled the imminent arrival of a train up on the platform. The man made his way up the stairs, looking calm and composed. He showed no sign of checking for pursuers. Kano hurried after him. The man stopped at the very edge of the platform to await the train. Not ideal. There was no way for Kano to get close without sticking out like a sore thumb. The train glided up to the platform. The man gave a quick look around as he stepped aboard. Kano followed. Trains on the Yamanote line didn't stop for long, and soon they were on their way. Glancing around, Kano noticed other MPD investigators who had slipped aboard the train as well. The suspect stood behind the driver's compartment, staring contemplatively at the scenery outside. The man's composure only served to rattle Kano more. A man with a gaudy necktie walked past Kano, talking on his cell phone. Yes, everything's going fine on this end, he said. There's no need to worry. In his other hand, he carried the same sort of attaché case as the man they were tailing. He headed right toward the driver's compartment and stood next to the suspect. Well, now that's not suspicious. Kano leaned his head subtly, straining to make out what he could of the phone conversation at the other end of the car. Yes, of course. 225 pages, all fully proofread. 225? Kidnapping. Profit. Kidnapping. That was police jargon for kidnapping. Was this guy in cahoots with the kidnapper? Maybe the criminals had planned an attaché case swap. Kano watched the newcomer like a hawk. But rather than making contact with the suspect, the man turned around and strolled back the way he'd come. He hadn't done anything suspicious at all. I don't know, sounds pretty suspicious. Yes, right. Uh-huh. Understood. Kano stole a glimpse of the man's face as he passed. He stopped and looked at Kano, seemingly aware that he was being watched. Kano decided to look away nonchalantly. But his anxiety got the better of him, and after a moment he turned his gaze right back. Soon the two men were locked in a staring contest. My apologies, the man said. He shut his phone with a click. I know it's rather rude to talk on one's cell phone while you're on a train. That's just common decency. The man affected a smile, then headed back to the car from which he'd come. Sheesh. Guess I overreacted. What is that? You gotta stop staring at everyone. An oddly dressed passenger murmured into Kano's ear. Blend into your surroundings more. Sasayama, when'd you get here? His partner had somehow found time to change his disguise. The steely expression on his face was at odds with his anime nerd getup. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years. Santa is a must for Christmas. Well, let's see what this is. Ew. Did not like that one. Chef, magician, samurai, and an astronaut to name a few, but this was a new extreme even for him. When he first joined the force, Kano had found Sasayama's costuming antics amusing, wondering where he managed to find his outfits, but lately his quirk had become tedious. You like the ocean? Huh? Never mind. Sasayama pulled a small bottle from his breast pocket. Drink this while you can. Guessing you haven't eaten. Huh? What's this? The least I could do. He handed Kano the bottle, then slipped away into the next compartment. He'd pulled an all-nighter and hadn't eaten, so he was glad to have something. He took a sip. Whatever this was, it was bland. It almost didn't taste like anything. Just what had Sasayama given him? What the heck. Anything's better than nothing. He brought the bottle to his lips and chugged the contents down. He suddenly got a massive head rush. He felt a heat like a burning that spread from his insides throughout his whole body. No, that wasn't right. It was an ache. It was a ferocious ache. A burning that spread from his insides to his fingertips. And there was pain. A numbing that spread from his insides all the way down to his toes. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Burning, aching, hurting. Twitchy, itchy, dizzy, sleepy, chilly, willy-nilly. This was not good. This was super duper not good. He broke into a cold sweat, his forehead drenched, his body damp and clammy all over. He felt his grip on consciousness slipping. Sasayama, what the hell did you do to me? With bleary eyes, he squinted to read the writing on the bottle. B-U-R-N. After a scant few letters, Kano blacked out. The least you could do. Kano blacked out. Burning hammer. Ooh, evil mascots. It's the cat. The cat did it. It's you! Where am I? Kano, head to the cafe. Whoops. This is my big chance. I should go meet with Rumi and Shizuo while I can. It's now or never, Kano decided. His future happiness depended on winning over Shizuo. He might not have the opportunity later if the kidnapping case wound up going south. He just had to make sure he didn't linger too long. He was trying to decide the best way to save as much time as possible. When he caught sight of a taxi passing by. He stepped out into the street to flag the cab down. The station wasn't too far away, but it would be faster to take a car than run there. The taxi screeched to a halt. "Careful, buddy," shouted the cab driver through the open window. "You're gonna get yourself killed." Looking more closely, Kano saw that there was already someone in the back seat. Well, crap. He hadn't considered that the cab might already be taken. Still, he didn't have time to wait for another to come along. Kano leaned in close to the back door of the taxi. "Please, I need you to let me have this cab. Beggars couldn't be choosers, after all." "No way," snapped the passenger. He didn't seem the genial type. "Please, I'm begging you here. Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab. I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please. This is really, really urgent." "Urgent?" "Yes, it's a matter of life or death. Please." "Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here, too." "Let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here." "Sorry, buddy. It's life or death on my end, too. I gotta look after me and mine." Kano could see this was going nowhere. "Right. So sorry to trouble you." Kano stepped back in frustration. The taxi sped away. Kano scanned the area looking for other cabs. Instead, he spotted the man with the attaché case. It was a stroke of dumb luck, but Kano wasn't going to lose sight of him now. He decided to follow. Further up along Dogenzaka, in the direction the perp was heading, was where Yamate Dori joined Route 246. Maybe the guy was planning to meet up with the getaway car. No, wait, hold on. If that were the plan, why would the gang have ditched the motorcycle earlier? Kano started tailing the man, racking his brain all the while. The suspect turned down a narrow side road. He wasn't heading toward Yamate Dori or Route 246 at all, but back toward Shibuya Station. What in the world was going on? It was starting to feel like the crooks were just messing with the investigation team. Kano, Radio Tuesday, on the wireless, blah, 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 blah. Hold on. I don't know if I should do this now. Sure, whatever. The Super Cub 90 raced down Route 246 toward Shibuya. Motorcycle. The speedometer remained at a steady 60 kph, kilometers per hour. Pumping the gas harder was no use. This was as fast as the bike would go. Minoru Minoikawa shouted as he sped along. "Damn it, I am not letting you die!" He jerked the handlebars and blew past a truck on the inside. The driver scowled at him as he shot by. "You maniac, you trying to get yourself killed?" "Just the opposite," Minoikawa shouted back. "I'm saving lives." The stoplight ahead turned red, cutting him off at the intersection. "Oh, come on." He had no choice but to slam on the brakes. But his agitation boiled over as he waited for the signal to change again. How long is this thing gonna stay red? Hurry up already. He brought the bike right up to the very edge of the line, keeping the engine revved like a dragster ready to peel out. Not on time is not in my dictionary. The light turned red. Then Minorikawa's own light turned green at last. He hit the accelerator as hard as he could. His engine died with a sputter. Huh? Oh, come on, what the hell? Car horns blared angrily behind him. In a fury, he pulled his bike over to the side of the road. No matter what he did, the engine refused to turn over. Was the problem with the spark plug, or maybe the battery? Whatever it was, he didn't have the time to figure it out now. With tears in his eyes, he left the bike, his companion of 10 years, abandoned on the roadside. He was about to break into a run when he saw a taxi dead ahead, letting out a passenger. He hurried to hop into the cab. Just head for Shibuya Station. I'll let you know exactly where once we get closer. The taxi driver nodded, coolly. Of course, sir. 10 minutes! Huh? I need you to get me there in 10 minutes. The driver grimaced. I'm afraid getting there in 10 minutes is a bit... 15 then. Sir, that's still... Look, that's all the time I can afford. Assuming traffic conditions cooperate, sir, then maybe. I can't make any promises. Norikawa looked at the driver's ID photo above the fare meter. His name was Hachiro Kimizuka. He was a middle-aged fellow, looked a little rough around the edges. Mr. Kimizuka, I chose you for this. You can do it. Chose me? Sir, I'm pretty certain we met by chance. Okay, sure, I suppose you could phrase it that way. Anyhow, can we get going? Right, Kimizuka said with a faint sigh. I'll see what I can do. The taxi pulled away at a decent clip. Minorikawa's frantic journey had started 20 minutes earlier. He'd been at home, working on an interview piece. He clucked his tongue in annoyance as the ringing phone broke his train of thought. Why did someone always call right when the words were flowing? If he didn't keep getting interrupted, he probably could wrap this piece up in no time. Be quiet! He pointed at the telephone as he yelled. I'm writing here! But his shouting did nothing to silence the ringing. He didn't have much choice but to pick up. Minorikawa speaking. There was no response. Hello? He hesitated, ready to hang up. Was this a prank call? It's me. It's Toyama. It was Teruo Toyama, the president of Heaven Publishing. Oh, what do you want? If this is about work, I'm already booked pretty full. He'd taken work from Heaven Publishing on several occasions, but the pay was hardly competitive. Lately, he'd been turning them down a lot, so he hadn't heard from Toyama in a while. No, this isn't work-related. Then what do you want? I'm kind of pressed for time here, working on some copy. Minorikawa was in no mood to beat around the bush. It seemed like every conversation he had with Toyama went like this. You're busy. That's good. Busy's good when you're a freelancer. Toyama sounded unusually sympathetic. Minorikawa found it off-putting. I hear sales have been good on your end, he said cautiously. With this month's 4-Star General Gossip and all. 4-Star General Gossip was a monthly magazine, Heaven Publishing's flagship publication. It had a small circulation and for the most part flew under the radar, but once in a while they'd land some big scoop and sell like crazy. This month's edition had come with a free scratch card, a gimmick that had moved 100,000 copies with ease. 5 winning symbols in a row wins 100,000 yen, was it? Minorikawa asked. A weak, moist sound came through the receiver. Huh? Baffled, Minorikawa listened more closely. It came again, then again. It kind of sounded like sobbing. Mr. Toyama? Are you crying? There was another soft sob, and then yet another. What's going on? Where are you? Minorikawa asked. At the office, Toyama managed. He let out another mewling whimper. What's the matter? It's nothing. Well, it's gotta be something. Come on, what is it? Toyama gave no reply. Mr. Toyama, you still there? Silence. What is it? What happened? Look, doesn't tell me anything. What the hell's going on? Toyama squeaked out a drawn-out whine. Okay, I'm sick of this. I'm hanging up now. Minorikawa was about to break the connection when he heard Toyama murmur. The only thing I can do now is die. The taxi lurched to a sudden stop as the driver slammed on the brakes. Minorikawa pitched forward, his face smacking against the back of the seat in front of him. Himizuka stuck his head out the window. Careful, buddy, he shouted at someone in the street ahead. You're gonna get yourself killed. Minorikawa blinked the stars from his eyes and saw a man moving alongside the cab. The guy grabbed onto the handle of the back door. Please, I need you to let me have this cab. No way, Minorikawa snapped. Just who did this guy think he was? Please, I'm begging you here. Look, I'm in a hurry, pal. Get your own cab. I know how ridiculous this must sound, but please, this is really, really urgent. Urgent? Yes, it's a matter of life or death. Please. The guy did look pretty desperate. Look, I'm sorry, but I'm dealing with something urgent here, too. Then let me ride with you. I'll pay for the whole fare. My entire future's on the line here. The guy sure was persistent. Maybe he was telling the truth. But Minorikawa had problems of his own. Sorry, buddy. It's life or death on my end, too. I gotta look after me and mine. Right. So sorry to trouble you. Finally, the guy gave up and shuffled away. Guess it couldn't have been that much of a life-ending crisis after all. Minorikawa checked his wristwatch. Damn it! That just cost us 5 minutes! I'll try to make it up, sir, the driver called back. The taxi lurched into motion, the engine quickly revving up to speed. Meow. Once inside the building, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-star General Gossip on the 4th floor. 4 is not a good number. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted in vain, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath, then kicked the door in. Whoa! The sight as he stepped into the office filled him with horror. Minorikawa clutched the sides of his head. I'm too late. Oh no, if only I'd gotten here a little sooner. Just 5 minutes. Minorikawa rushed to heaven. It's all Kano's fault. Look. Go back to Archie. Oh god, it was dancing. Whoops, it's not what I wanted. Seen his chance, Archie lunged forward in an attempt to wrest the gun away. He reached out with both hands, attempting to knock it to the floor. The man's grip on the weapon was stronger than he expected, however, and he shoved Archie away with surprising force. The gunman's posture radiated a ferocious determination. His eyes, though, were like a dead man's, wide and hollow. It was unsettling, to say the least. Who the heck is this guy? "Hitomi," Ashi shouted. "Get out of here now!" But Hitomi was rooted in place with terror. "Run!" Snapping out of it at last, she bolted for the door. She paused in the doorway to look back at him. "Achi! What the hell are you waiting for?" Ashi snarled. "Get out of here now!" Finally, Hitomi slipped out of the building. At some point, the assassin had managed to snatch up a beer bottle in his free hand. Uh-oh. Achi tried to duck, but he was a hair too slow. The makeshift weapon caught him in the left ear. He staggered, his head spinning, barely able to tell which way was up. His vision dimmed, but still he refused to yield. He headbutted the man in the nose as hard as he could. The assassin staggered backward. Then all the remaining strength left Achi's body. Beaten up by the man with the cane. Oh man, I gotta do that all over again. Okay, whatever. Tama. Handing out samples. See, this is why I gotta go in order. Cat. It's so hot. It's so hot in this thing. Way, way too hot. I feel like I'm sitting in a sauna. Everyone else on the street looks nice and cool. But here I am getting treated to my very own personal midsummer heat wave. On top of that, I can barely see. I can barely breathe, for the matter. But hey, what can I do? Huff, huff. Pant, pant. Huff, huff. Pant, pant. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Some iced tea would be amazing right now. I'm gonna pass out from dehydration at this rate. I may as well admit it. I underestimated how tough this would be. Who knew wearing a mascot costume could be so uncomfortable? A delicate young lady like myself has no business doing this sort of job. I suddenly have so much respect for the people on those superhero team shows. Like, can you imagine doing action scenes in something like this? Heck, all I'm doing is standing here, and I'm this close to calling it quits. But I can't. I need the work. I need the money. This is no time to be a wuss. If I give up on this, what else am I possibly going to do? Check out the revolutionary new diet drink, Burning Hammer! I thrust a free sample toward passersby while shouting as loud as I can. Come on and give it a try! It's no use. People just walk by, one after the other. They avoid looking at the sample. It's been like this ever since I started standing here. What gives? You'd figure at least one person would have taken the bottle by now. I mean, it's free, but I haven't managed to give away a single one. If this keeps up, there's no way I'm getting paid. And then this whole miserable experience will have all been for nothing. Just drink this and watch the pounds melt away. No exercising or dieting necessary. I can hear the desperation in my own voice. Just burn, 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 burn those pounds away. They're giving me cold looks now. They probably think I'm some shyster trying to offload dodgy product. It's that simple, folks. You just drink the weight away. I guarantee it. Heck, this whole thing reeks of a scam to me, too. Losing weight just by drinking some concoction is way too good to be true. But still, free is free. You'd think I'd be able to give one or two away. It's not like I'm not trying. Okay, pep talk time. You can do this. Think about the money. Just start with one bottle. Alright, I'm going to give this bottle away to the next person I see, no matter what. I close my eyes and gather my determination. I just need to get started, and the momentum will build from there. Alright, eyes open. There are two people walking in my direction. Wait, two? Oh no, which one do I pick? If I keep waffling, they're both going to pass me by. I just need to hand this bottle off. Which one of the guys looks more likely to take it? Clutching the free sample in my furry fist, Businessman to the left. Clutching the free sample in my furry fist, I try to force it off on the businessman to my left. Here you go, sir. A free sample of Burning Hammer, the latest and greatest diet drink. The businessman flashes me a look of utter contempt and makes a point of avoiding me as he slips past. Bam! There goes the wind right out of my sails. I wonder how the other mascot's doing about now. There's a sales demo happening today at 1 o'clock at the Nokane building. Huh. Looks like the chicken has handed out all kinds of samples. I don't get it. How come nobody's taking any of mine? What could I possibly be doing wrong? I look at the clock. It's a little after 11. My morning of wandering around hawking diet drinks is just about over. I'll need to get ready to head over to the sales demo. I'd love to take the costume off, but then I'd have to carry it. The samples I haven't given out are almost too heavy as it is. Oh well, I might not have gotten results, but I tried my best. I sure hope they don't withhold my pay or anything. Hey, what gives? You got that many left? The chicken speaks with a female voice. Yeah, I reply sheepishly. Nobody seems to want to take mine. Well, I mean, are you looking for the right targets? Huh? Like groups of girls or bored-looking older ladies. Those are the types you gotta be gunning for, you know? Wow, I hadn't even considered that. Now that she says it, it seems so obvious. This is a diet drink after all. Of course I'm not gonna have any luck trying to foist it off on random guys. Well, whatever, the chicken says. Here, give me the samples you've got left. I hand over my samples, and the chicken dumps the whole lot into her basket. I'll drink whatever's left, so they don't find out you didn't pass them out, she says. Huh? Wait, like, all of them? Yeah, all of them. The chicken sounds pretty confident in herself. These may just be sample-sized bottles, but still, they add up to a lot. I can feel myself on the brink of tears at the kindness of her offer. Thank you so much. It's a huge help. I bow deeply, which makes my mascot head wobble. Leaving the station behind, we head down Center Guide towards the Nokane building. The Burning Hammer sales demo is going to be held there this afternoon. The job's supposed to pay 10,000 yen for the day, but if we can sell at least 100 bottles at the demo, they've promised another 10,000 on top of that. I need to make sure I sell those 100 bottles. I need that 20,000 yen and I need it ASAP. We arrive at the Nokane building, a rundown multi-tenant office complex. We head into the room where the Burning Hammer sales demo is taking place. There are already about 50 seats set out. I wonder how many people the free samples will pull in. My stage has been set up at the far end of the room. That's where I'm going to be standing, sipping Burning Hammer while explaining its effects to the customers. Hurry up and take that thing out. Take that thing off. The chicken flaps her wings as she speaks. It's kinda early, but come on, let's have lunch. I'm starving. Now that she mentions it, I realize I'm pretty hungry myself. The demo's not starting for another 2 hours. I can't win a war against my stomach for that long. The chicken and I head to the waiting room where they set our lunches out for us. Mind getting my back real quick? The chicken asks. She arches her back toward me. Apparently she can't reach her own zipper. Oh, sure, give me just a sec. I try to unzip the back of the chicken suit, but my own suit's thick, fuzzy fingers have a hard time of it. What's the holdup? Come on, I'm roasting in this thing. Hurry up and get it off me. I've almost got it, it's just awkward with these mitts. Finally, I get hold of the zipper and yank it. Downward. A girl emerges from the chicken as if the chicken itself were an egg. I'm alive! Her red sweatshirt is drenched in sweat. Almost at once, she's kicking back and cooling off with a hand fan. Sorry, but would you mind getting me to... I ask. Yeah, okay. I turn my back to the girl. I hear metal clacking behind me. At long last, I'm about to be free of this 5-ton fursuit. Huh? The girl murmurs awkwardly. Huh? What? A spike of anxiety hits me. What's wrong? I ask. Yeah, that's a no-go. Zipper's busted. What? Yeah, sorry. This thing ain't coming off. What? My vision goes dark. No, no, no! I tug desperately at the costume, but no luck. I'm trapped inside. What the crap? Well, we can talk to the boss about it when he gets back, the girl says. I mean, it's not like we can just cut it off you with scissors or anything. She sounds entirely unconcerned. It's so unfair. I need to get out of this stuffy, sweltering steam bath as soon as possible. All I can do is clench my fist in impotent rage. But anyway, good work out there today, the girl continues. I'm Chiriko Sugi, by the way. You could just call me Chiri. She smiles as she introduces herself. I mean, I am a pretty cheery gal and all. She breaks into a hearty guffaw. Oh, sure, I say. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, for sure. So, I guess you're not gonna be able to eat lunch in that getup, huh? Huh? Ah, that's right. What should I do? Don't sweat it, just leave it to me. Huh? I'll eat both lunches myself. Chiri doesn't even wait for me to reply before reaching for my lunch. It'd be a shame to let it go to waste, she says. She makes it sound like leftover food is a bigger concern than my hunger. I can feel my appetite stirring all the more as she devours my meal with a satisfied grin on her face. A faint, pathetic gurgle rises from my belly. It's just a cheap little prepackaged box lunch, but right now it looks like a feast. So, what's your name? Chiri asks. Her cheeks are still packed with rice. My name? Yeah. Oh, it's, As I struggle to think of an answer, my eyes alight on the piece of tamagoyaki clutched between Chiri's chopsticks. The yellow slab of lightly grilled egg wobbles to and fro. I can see the inside from the way it's been sliced. It looks somewhat undercooked. Come on, what's your name? Right, Tama. It's Tama. Huh? You mean like the famous cat? Well, ain't that fittin'? Chiri chortles and stuffs a piece of tamagoyaki in her mouth, and takes a big swig of iced tea. I'm beyond jealous. I wish I could gorge myself on those lunchboxes until I'm full to bursting. Heck, even a cold glass of iced tea would be a lifesaver right now. I'm so thirsty, I'm starting to get all dizzy. Maybe I really am getting dehydrated. This isn't good. If I don't do something, I'm going to pass out before the sales demo even starts. And then I remember something. The zipper down my back might be busted, but I can still take the head off, right? That way I'd at least be able to eat and drink stuff. Alright. I decide to... grab the head in both hands and yank it. I decide to grab the head in both hands and yank it upward with all my might. Oh, come on! No matter how hard I pull, it won't come off. Ow! A dull pain throbs at the back of my head. Did I smack it against something at some point? Chitty flashes me a curious look. What are you doing? She asks. I thought maybe I could at least get the head off. I try pulling again, refusing to give up. That ain't gonna work. That thing's attached to the body. I slump forward in defeat, face planting on the tabletop. No. Most folks would have noticed that when they put it on, you know. Well, I didn't. The boss helped me get into it. This thing. Well, don't let it get you down, Chiri says. Here, drink some of this. She pulls a bottle with a straw from her bag and pours some of the tea into it. It's a fever of thirst. In a fever of thirst, I jam the plastic straw through the mascot costume's mouth. Thankfully, it reaches as far as my own. I suck for all I'm worth. I suck and I suck and I suck. My body rejoices as the moisture returns to it like rain coming to the desert. And thus, I revive! Actually, it kind of does feel like I'm coming back to life. Oh, thank you so much! I'm never going to forget this as long as I live! With tears welling up in my eyes, I clutch Chiri's hand in my fuzzy mitts. Hey, I'm not that kind of person to abandon someone in need, you know? She replies. An embarrassed grin crosses her face. How come you're carrying this bottle around with you anyway? I ask. Oh, that's because I make my own protein juice. Juice. Supplement. Protein juice? Never heard of it. I heard that if you have protein juice for one of your 3 meals a day, you'll lose weight. So yeah, I kinda need to keep it. Given Churi's sort of, well, chubby frame, I don't think the protein's been working so great for her. I've been trying all sorts of stuff, but right now protein is totally the best thing for my diet. This stuff, though? Churi cast her eyes at the samples of burning hammer on the table. It's like totally bogus. Huh? Bogus? That's a surprise. Well, yeah, Churi says. You gotta exercise if you want to burn body fat. She smacks herself on one flabby arm. I mean, there's no way you're gonna lose weight by taking in more calories. Huh. Didn't she just say she was drinking protein juice to lose weight? I keep that thought to myself. I mean, that'd be as ridiculous as all you could eat Kobe beef, she adds. She shakes her head seriously. I'm not sure about using all-you-can-eat anything as an example in a discussion about weight loss. But again, I keep the thought to myself. But hey, a job's a job, Churi says after a moment, perking up again. They told me to sell this junk and I'll sell it. A sudden wailing comes from the other side of the door. Please, just give me time. I swear I'll get it back to you. What the heck? Churi says. Is that the boss? I nod. That's definitely Mr. Yanagishita's voice. He's the guy who hired me. Sidling up alongside Churi, I very quietly open the door and take a peek inside. Mr. Yanagishita is down on his hands and knees, begging while two uncouth-looking men glower at him. Just a little more time, that's all I ask, he pleads. Once I sell this stuff, I can pay you back. I see a tiny bottle of burning hammer in his hand. Just a little more, mimics the middle-aged fellow. I just gotta sell this. We've heard enough of that out of ya. Yeah, the younger guy sneers. We ain't giving you any more time, so quit asking. But I really just need a little longer this time. Please, you gotta believe me. From the look of things, Mr. Yaganashita is dealing with some loan sharks. The two thugs are clearly in no mood for his continued groveling. Chidi and I exchange a glance. It's probably best if we don't go out there right now. But now I'm really worried. Am I actually going to get paid for this gig? As I'm pondering that, one of the men grabs Yaganashita by the nape of the neck and drags him to his feet. Come with us, pal. We'll take you someplace you can, work off your debts. Say what? Mr. Yanagishita wails. The two men drag him away. Huh, guess he's gone then, Churi says. She's already starting to pack up her things. Wait, what are you doing? I ask. Going home. Not much point sticking around. Going home? I mean, the demo sure ain't happening now. Anyhow, it was nice working with you. See ya. Moments later, Churi's out the door. Now what do I do? I've been left here all by myself, more or less at a total loss. Our poor feline friend isn't going to get paid now. Oh no. Okay. Kano, head to the cafe. No, I got a job to focus on. Further up along Dogonzaka in the direction the perp was heading, blah 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 blah. Oh wait. Do I jump over now? Norikawa. Um. 11, 10. Here? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do. Scream! The taxi's tires squealed as the cab rounded a corner. The shift in momentum made Minorikawa topple over in the back seat. There we go. 10 minutes on the dot, the driver announced. Minorikawa righted himself and looked out the window. Shibuya Station. I knew you could do it, Mr. Kimizuka. He told the driver how to get to Heaven Publishing. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes further. Sir, if I may ask, just what are you in such a hurry over? Son of a bitch. I beg your pardon? Kimizuka bristled. Not you, the guy who's waiting on me, Minorikawa said. I'm gonna give that son of a bitch a piece of my mind. The multi-tenant building where Heaven Publishing had its offices came into view. The taxi stopped outside. Minorikawa opened the door as he hurriedly reached for his wallet, then he stopped. What if the worst had come to pass and he needed to take Toyama to a hospital? Should he have the taxi wait here? Or would it be better to call an ambulance? Sir, is there a problem? The driver asked. No, I'm fine. You're a lifesaver. How much do I owe you? Minorikawa paid the fare and got out of the cab. I'm going to swing by the train station, and if I don't get any passengers, I'll come by this way again, Kimizuka said. The taxi pulled away. Once inside, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted in vain, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. Whoa! Toyama was standing on a stool, about to slip his head through a noose that hung from the ceiling. What the hell are you doing? Minorikawa lunged for Toyama. The two men crashed to the floor in a tangled heap. A pile of clutter slid off of a nearby desk and fell on top of them. Minorikawa, what are you doing? Toyama whined. Dragging himself back to his feet proved something of a challenge. That's what I'd like to know. Minorikawa's fury was mounting. What the hell is this all about? He jabbed an accusing finger at the noose hanging from the ceiling. Oh, that. One of the fluorescent lights died. And I was just swapping it out. Don't you feed me that bull. What was that phone call all about? That business about how the only thing you could do was die? Tell me. Just a joke. Toyama curled his lips into a faint semblance of a smile. Minorikawa wasn't buying it, but he didn't have time to press the issue. A cute little voice echoed through the editing office. Daddy, I'm back from the store. A little girl came walking in, carrying a length of rubber gas tubing. It was Toyama's 5th grade daughter, Hana. Only daughter, currently 10. Hospital, fireworks. Okay. Minorikawa stared. Toyama, you were planning on using that hose to... He hesitated to end his sentence with gas yourself to death. Well, you know, it's almost gas heater season after all. The hell it is. It was a beautiful sunny April day outside. Well, you know how sensitive I am to the cold. This was getting truly ridiculous. Minorikawa got right up in his face. Listen, just explain to me what the heck is going on, okay? He kept his voice low, but his eyes were steely. Hana clung tightly to her father, gazing worriedly up at the two men. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. To progress further, man named Junichi Yaganashita shows up to Toyama, lets out a sigh. Okay, I gotta do this Achi thing over again. Oops. Don't like the thought of being followed. Tobacco shop. Meow. Okay, Tama. stuck in the cat costume. Grab the head in both hands. Okay, this is new. I'll sell it. The door flies open suddenly, and a loud voice belts out, "Hold it right there!" I whirl around in a panic to see an odd-looking man standing in the doorway. It's Junichi Yaganeshita. He's the guy who hired us. I heard that, Chiri. Don't you go calling my product junk. That's disrespectful. Chiri gave him an apologetic look. Whoops, sorry about that. You should be, but whatever. If you really have doubts, have a try for yourself. Mr. Yaganashita pulls a bottle of burning hammer from his coat pocket. Sister products include Del Sweats, Cellulose, Butter Sweater, Dom Pepperon, Power Burn Z, Mr. Thin, Nega Chow, Super Nega Chow. At first glance, it looks like some kind of energy supplement, but the cheapo label gives an immediate impression of sketchiness. Yikes, that looks like the Chad and Virgin art thing. Go on, says Yaganashita. Give it a go. Chiri reaches out to take it. But no sooner does she grab the bottle than Mr. Yanagshita shouts out once more. Wait, hold on. What? Chiri squawks. What gives? You two. You're both good, stomach-wise. Stomach-wise? Yeah. Drinking this stuff on an empty stomach can cause some pretty nasty problems. So just make sure you eat or drink something beforehand. Doesn't matter what, really. Wait, nasty problems? Yeah. Such as what? I ask. I'd rather not say. Nobody would buy it otherwise. Seriously? It's all good, I just had lunch, Chiri says. She flashes a carefree smile. Well, I haven't eaten yet. But on the other hand, I've been guzzling as much iced tea as I can to fill myself up. It's probably safe for me to try this stuff. No, I better not drink it. No, I better not drink this stuff. It's not even particularly appetizing. Chiri twists off the cap. Bottoms up, she declares, and proceeds to noisily gulp her bottle down. It doesn't seem like she minds it. Maybe it's actually pretty tasty after all. Huh? Aren't you gonna have some too? Mr. Yanagashita flashes me a look. I guess I might as well try just a little bit. I stick the bottle of burning hammer into my mascot head mouth. It has an unexpected smell like curry. Getting my own lips around the mouth of the bottle, I gulp down the liquid inside. Huh. It doesn't taste like anything. A handful of seconds go by. What the heck? It feels like a firecracker just exploded inside my mouth. Now it's spicy. Way too spicy. It's like I just swallowed a chili pepper coated curry powder. Before I knew it, I'm sweating bullets. Well, you sweating? Mr. Yanagashita asks. Like a whole lot. You are, aren't you? Why does he sound so happy about that? That right there is the magic of burning hammer at work. Chiri and I are at a loss for words. Burning hammer. Drink all you want and just burn those pounds away. How's that sound? Good, huh? This is just so stupid spicy it makes you sweat, Chiri blurts out. Blunt and to the point, I approve. Yeah? Well, I guess you're right, Yanagashita says. He hangs his head. What is in this stuff? I ask. I can still feel my tongue tingling. Heck, my body is almost too numb to move. I'm so shocked, I even forget to get properly angry. So, it's this health food product that got imported from America a few years back, Yanagishita explains. But the import agency went out of business not long after and couldn't move the merch. So I bought up the whole lot. Everything they had in their storehouse, spent all the money I had on it. Chiri arches an eyebrow. How much did it cost you? She asks. 1 million yen for 300 bottles. I can scarcely believe my ears. 300 bottles at 1 million yen for the lot? That's roughly 3,333 yen apiece. Each one of these teensy little bottles costs over 3,000 yen? You got ripped off, man, Chiri says. You really think so? Huh, yeah, you're probably right. He hangs his head even more despondently. This is the sort of thing they'd sell in 100 yen shops or something. Ouch, Chiri, moving in for the kill. 100 yen shops? Really? Mr. Yanagishita lets out the heaviest of sighs. I'm starting to feel pretty bad for the guy, actually. Don't let it get you down, sir, I say, hoping to comfort him. But Mr. Yanagishita just lets out a sob-choked sigh. I try again. It'll be okay. Whether or not it helps you lose weight, it is spicy and it does make you sweat. I'm not sure I follow, Chiri says. How much you selling these bottles for, boss? 15,000 yen per bottle. Selling all bottles. What? Chiri's jaw practically hits the floor. Mine does the same. No way. Nuh-uh. No frickin' way. Calling that price point absurd wouldn't begin to do it justice. Well, look. Selling it at that price is my only option. I need to cover my costs. Anyway, please, I need you both to work your hardest. Apparently, he's committed to this insane course of action. Okay, Chiri replies. It's more like a sigh than a proper response, but I can't blame her. As for me, I can't even find the words. I'm so flabbergasted. Hey, I try to murmur. Sorry, what was your name again? He interjects. Right, I'm Tama. Why are you still wearing your costume? I stumbled my way through an explanation. Wow, so then are you going to do the sales demo like that? Well, if I can't take the mascot costume off, I don't have much of a choice, do I? No, that won't do at all. I hired you to be a model. If you're wearing that thing, then what's the point? I'm at a loss for words. The point is exactly what he's missing. It's not like I'm wearing this getup because I want to. How about we just cut it off of ya? Cherry says with a big grin. She pulls a massive pair of scissors out of her bag. The blades make an unsettling snip-snip sound as she waggles them in my face. Whoa, no, you can't do that, Yanagishita exclaims. That suit's a rental. I don't want to have to reimburse them for the thing. Well then, what am I supposed to do? I ask. He looks at me uncertainly. Maybe you could have someone from the rental place come down, Cherry suggests, before helping herself to the rest of my lunch. Oh hey, good idea, Yanagishita says. He seems to be making an effort to calm himself down at least. Just try to grin and bear it until then, Tama. Well, I guess that's that then. I'm sure we'll get it off eventually, I say. Hopefully before the demo. That's the spirit. I really need you to be my model. A model, huh? It's flattering, but I can't help but wonder, would I be any good at that? Well, this is no time to be timid. I need that money no matter what. My troubles all started earlier this morning. I was at a knick-knack shop on Center Guy. I'd happened to pass by and spotted a red necklace on display in the storefront. And I got this weird sensation when I saw it. You could maybe call it deja vu, something like that. It was as if I'd been drawn to it somehow. This was mine. I was sure of it. I wanted it. No, I needed to make it mine. As soon as I possibly could. That's how strong the feeling was. The price was 40,000 yen. I checked my wallet repeatedly, but I only had 20,000 on me. Nonetheless, I needed to have it. There was just one question. How? Somehow I managed to drag myself away from the shop. Just a few minutes later, I ran into Mr. Yanagishita. Hey, a voice said out of nowhere. If you want, I can pay you 10,000 for a day's work. I found myself staring at this frumpy, middle-aged man who was handing me his business card. Managing Director Junichi Yakanashita, Yamato Health Foods Company, Limited. I'm in a real bind here. Need some extra help. Would you mind coming with me? I'm begging you, just one day. He seemed pretty sketchy. And as much as I needed money for the necklace, I wasn't going anywhere with some random weirdo. I ignored him and tried to just walk off. Please! Please! Yanagishita grabbed me by the hand. Watch it, pal, I snapped. Hands off or I start shouting for help. Please, it's not like that. Just hear me out. Look, I'm in a hurry. Please. Please. Knock it off. I spun forcefully away from him, yanking my hand from his grip. Ugh. Yanagishita whirled through the air and fell into the bushes. Whoa, where'd that come from? He gasped. His eyes were wide as saucers. You a martial artist or something? No, I think that was just a fluke. The truth was I was surprised myself at how well I pulled off that escape move. Okay then. Look, I'm sorry. Can you give me a hand? No way. No, I mean, give me your hand. My hip's killing me here. I guess. The least I could do was help the guy get to his feet. Look, why are you hounding me so much? Please don't be angry. The moment I saw you, I just felt it. You're the only person who can possibly do this job for me. I let out a sigh, but my interest was admittedly piqued. What kind of job? I need a sales rep for a health supplement. I want you to do PR as a dieting success story for my product. Just look at you. You have the body of an actress. Sales are gonna go through the roof. Well, it was hard to feel too offended when he told me that. The job didn't seem as fishy as I initially suspected. Alright, maybe I'm interested, I said. There's just one thing. Yeah, whatever it is, I'm sure I can handle it. I need 20,000 yen as soon as possible. So if the day only pays 10,000... Alright then. If you can sell 100 bottles at our sales event, I'll throw in another 10,000 as a bonus. How's that sound? I certainly couldn't think of any other way I was going to earn 20,000 yen in a single day. This might be exactly the break I needed. You got a deal. You have my services for the day, I said, bowing my head. Yes! Yakanashita jumped for joy. What about your hip? Huh? Oh, yeah, it's better now. All better. Fixed itself just now. Yakanashita bowed deeply as I gave him a dubious look. Look, I'm sorry, he added hurriedly. I wasn't trying to pull a fast one on you, honest. I was just scouting for talent and I saw you and, well... Was trusting this guy really the best idea? I was starting to worry just a little about whether he'd actually pay up. Look, I've staked everything on this sales demo later today, he went on. This is the make-or-break opportunity of a lifetime. Sure. I'll be honest with you, I'm in a ton of debt. 2 million yen. 2 million. Yaganashita's tone had taken on a feverish intensity. If I don't pay it back by the end of the day, then boy howdy, am I up the creek without a paddle. How did you even get into a situation like that? I asked. He gazed skyward, a far-off look in his eyes. Because even if he knows he has no chance of winning, sometimes a man just has to stand and fight. But I guess a girl like you wouldn't understand. He laughed and smiled at his own words, but he was right. I sure as heck didn't understand in the slightest. Anyway, real quick, could you put this on? Mr. Yanagishita briskly rummaged through his bindle, then thrust a cat costume out toward me. What? Here? Yeah, before the sales event, you gotta hand out some samples. Woo. The job's already started, you know? And with that, Mr. Yanagishita went about getting me into the mascot suit. Looking back on it, it was a pretty ridiculous turn of events. Still, if I'm going to get my hands on the necklace, I have to take the chance that this job will pay out. There's a knock at the door. Huh? Who could that be? Mr. Yanagishita asked. We got a customer already. He opens the door and heads outside. No way is that a costume. A customer, Chiri says. I mean, right? She guzzles from her 2-liter bottle of iced tea. No one's gonna buy something as sketchy as this. I guess not, I agree. About the only thing I can really say about Burning Hammer is that it's spicy. Anyhow, Chiri says. Wanna get something to eat? But you just ate lunch. 2 lunches! I know this amazing Chinese buffet. Wanna come along? Because I'm gonna dominate. Huh? Someday, I plan to chow my way through every item on their menu. Before I can respond, I hear a sudden outburst in the hallway. What the hell are you thinking selling something like this? The voice sounds harsh and strained. It's quickly followed by another voice, Mr. Yanagishita, sounding desperately apologetic. Well, be fair now, I did ask whether or not you were on an empty stomach. He must have given someone some burning hammer, huh? I say. Chiri nods. Yeah, maybe. But that's weird. Did we really get a customer this early? Yeah, isn't the sales demo not until 1 o'clock? There are more sounds from the hallway. Chiri gets a weird look on her face. Whoa, what? What the heck? What's going on? Die! Suddenly a man kicks down the door and bursts in, shrieking like a madman. His face is flushed, steam is erupting from every pore. Shuri and I could only stare, frozen with bewilderment as he rampages around the room, smashing everything in sight. In a matter of moments, the venue is completely totaled. Then the guy simply charges back out the door. No chance of holding a sales demo now. Why did this have to happen? Who was that guy? Why'd he have to do this? Demo postponed. There wasn't much Tom and Shuri could do. Clear choice. Okay, Jump. Don't let it get you down, sir, I say, hoping to comfort him. But yeah, Mr. Yanagishita just lets out a sob-choked sigh. I try again. It'll be okay. Whether or not it helps you lose weight, it is spicy and it does make you sweat. I'm not sure I follow, Shuri says. Hold on. Oh, there we go. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. It's the scratch cards that were in 4-star General Gospel. Gossip, I mean... that were in 4-star General Gossip. That's where the problem is. And what is the problem? If you shine a light on the cards from behind, you can see where the winning symbols are. Whoa! I messed things up dealing with the printing company. All of this, he gestured vaguely. It's my fault, my responsibility. He proceeded to explain the situation in detail. Word was quick to leak on the internet that there was a way to find the winning symbols, and suddenly thousands of cardholders turned up en masse to collect. Heaven Publishing was hit with a massive financial liability, and the employees rushed to flee a sinking ship. Before Toyama realized it, he was the only one left at the company, and he was up against the deadline for next month's 4-star General Gossip. If I have to drop next month's issue, I'll be stuck in debt even deeper. And if that happens, I'm finished. Toyama gave a dismal groan. So don't drop the issue, Minorikawa snapped. He pounded his fist right into the side of a cardboard box. But Toyama just shook his head weakly. I've been up for 3 days straight trying to fill the pages. It's not enough. I can't do the impossible. He dropped his gaze to the floor. Countless scratch cards lay scattered about. They'd probably been amidst the pile that had fallen off the desk earlier. Each card showed a neat row of 5 win symbols. You can't know if it's impossible if you don't see it through. I'll never make it in time. The proof needs to be done by 8 o'clock this evening. Well then, Minorikawa thought to himself. He let out a sigh, then held his hand out to Hana. Hana, would you mind giving me that hose? Hana gave her father a quick look, then handed the rubber hose to Minorikawa. This won't be necessary. He tossed the rubber... This won't be necessary. He tossed the rubber hose into the trash, then jabbed his finger at Toyama. Show me the layout and the draft proposal for next month's issue. Toyama blinked a few times in disbelief. Huh? You can't possibly be serious. I'm trying to help. Now show me the layout and the proposal before I change my mind. After a brief, incredulous pause, Toyama hurried off to grab the paperwork. A layout, in publishing speak, is an outline of a magazine showing which articles will occupy which pages. Minorikawa gave it a quick once-over, finding that 12 of the pages were still blank and untouched. He wanted to punch whatever writers had been assigned those pages. See what I mean? Toyama said. It's hopeless. He sounded perversely proud of his failure. Getting enough material to fill 12 pages by 8 o'clock. Yeah, it was definitely a tall order, all right. Says who? Minorikawa replied. Remember who you're talking to here. You seriously think you can do it? You're joking, right? Minorikawa shot back. I seriously know I can do it. There's nothing in this world that I hate more than a bad joke. Why are you doing this for me? Toyama was getting misty-eyed. I'm not doing it for you, you spineless wimp. I'm doing this for poor little Hana. Minorikawa, I'm so sorry. Toyama bowed his head so deeply, Minorikawa thought he might put his face through the floor. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your daughter. Forgive me. Please forgive me, Hana. Toyama clutched her tightly in his arms. The girl hugged him back on the verge of tears. Hey now, enough of the waterworks. I've got your backs. Don't you worry about a thing. Minorikawa picked up the draft proposal for the pages that needed filling. The words Shibuya Scuttlebutt Special were plastered across the cover sheet in big, bold type. Okay, so a 12-page special edition block on Shibuya. Fair enough. And first on the docket, drink yourself thin with burning hammer. This reeked of a scam. The only way drinking more of something would make you lose weight... The only way drinking more of something would make you lose weight would be if it were mixed with a laxative, probably. Still, there wasn't enough time to tweak the layout plan now. According to the proposal write-up, a product demo was scheduled for 1 p.m. that day. The location printed on the map was blurry and hard to make out, but Minorikawa had a rough idea where it was. It looked like he didn't have much of a choice but to swing by in hopes of getting more material. He scanned further along into the proposal. Society of Surveillance, hidden cameras installed throughout Shibuya. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Where are they now? Washed up screenwriter showcase. Sexy squared, twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Shibuya now! Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Shadowy foreign crime syndicate exposed. Those 7 pieces were to fill the 12 empty pages. That was the plan at any rate, but there wasn't enough material there to make any headway. The Shibuya Now article didn't even have any proposed content. This sucked hardcore. It didn't look like there was much material for the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad either. The note suggested that a few years prior, a group of youngsters in Shibuya had banded together to help fight crime in their neighborhoods. At this point, however, things had flipped around completely, and they'd become a gang of street punks themselves. A turn to the dark side. It had the makings for an interesting article, to be sure, but tracking down this gang would take time. Minorikawa was personally intrigued by the one about organ harvesting in Shibuya. The rumor was that organs were being smuggled out of Southeast Asia and fenced locally at a tremendous price. There was even a plan to ascertain the authenticity of these claims. Fascinating. If Minorikawa was going to be spending all day gathering other material, though, he didn't have much time to spare for it. Shibuya Now! The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Minorikawa decided that one of those 3 would have to go. He thought about it long and hard as he stared at the draft proposal. There's a good chance he'd really screw himself over if he picked the wrong one. Finally, he decided to cut... organ trafficking. Finally, he decided to cut black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. It had the potential to be the most interesting, but getting the material would take way too long. His goal was just to make sure that the gossip made it to the press at all. Society of Surveillance. Where are they now? Sexy squared. Those 3 pieces had individuals slated for interviews, but no appointments had been made with any of them. And scheduled interviews were a dicey prospect. Minorikawa decided to call them up on his cell as he made his way down the list. The only one he managed to get a hold of was Shinosuke Owarai from the Where Are They Now piece. He said he'd be willing to give a 15-minute interview after 2:30. Minorikawa sighed. He'd just have to get material from the others in a more impromptu fashion then. Putting his nose to the grindstone, he started throwing together a schedule for the day. Was it possible to get all that material and write it all up and still finish the whole thing by 8 o'clock? It was no use. No matter how he tweaked it, none of his simulations ended with him having a proof ready on time. He just needed one more thing, and that was another writer. Minorikawa zoomed through his contacts list, calling up all the freelancers he knew. The results were depressing. Answering machines, overseas on business, in the hospital, currently doing time. Before long, he called everyone he could think of except for one, novice freelancer Chiaki Iso. Chiaki was a bit of an odd duck, a reporter who was scared of talking to people. Minorikawa had never known anyone who became so hopelessly flustered in a one-on-one setting. Hopelessly flustered Chiaki. If she couldn't talk to people, she certainly couldn't do interviews. And if she couldn't get any real interview content, she wouldn't be able to write much in the way of copy. Would she come to his aid if asked? Quite probably. The issue was whether she would hinder more than help. Huh. What he needed now were dependable folks. He needed dependable folks he could count on. He decided to email all his contacts from back in his staff reporter days. Emergency alert. Come to Heaven Publishing ASAP. If not, someone's going to die. Minoru Minorikawa. The message might have been extreme, but it was technically true. Still, he was taking a risk, hoping that someone would react to the email in time. As it turned out, he got a response before too long. This is about Toyama, no can do, sorry. The bluntness of the reply made Minorikawa wonder. Had Toyama been busy burning bridges? Before long, 2 more responses came in, but they both contained a similar answer. No dice then. Waiting around for someone to turn up to help save the day was probably a waste of time. Without any other real options, Minorikawa decided to call up Chiaki. The phone rang several times before a sleepy voice finally answered. Sound only. Hello? Chiaki, hi, it's Minorikawa. Are you free today? Huh? What? She seemed thrown by the abrupt question. Did you just wake up? No, I mean... Well, yeah. Good morning. Her voice still sounded half asleep. So then I'm guessing you don't have any work slated for today, as usual. Pretty much. No work, no money, no food. Nothing to do except sleep. If I'm not awake, I can't dwell on how hungry I am. She didn't sound well, almost like she literally didn't have anything to eat. Well, I've got work for you. I'm over at 4-Star General Gossip. Get over here ASAP. What? You really mean it? That seemed to finally wake her up. Yeah, but hurry. Minorikawa decided he'd assign Chiaki to the Shibuya Now piece. I want you to start by getting interviews off the street around Shibuya Station. Street interviews? Chiaki's voice came out as a nervous squeak. But Mr. Mino, Street interviews aren't really my, Kid, you were just telling me how you couldn't afford to eat. Can you really afford to be picky right now? Well, I mean, I guess not. The piece is called Shibuya Now. Just interview at least 10 people and get me an article by 6 o'clock. Okay. He quickly explained the kind of interviews he was after, then hung up. Okay, I've gotten us another writer. We'll get through, Toyama, somehow. Toyama shrugged gloomily. Yeah, well, the thing is, there's actually one more problem. Are you kidding me? Norikawa couldn't hide the irritation in his voice. What is it now? The loan company is sending a debt collector over at 4 o'clock. But as you can imagine, I don't have a single yen to give them. That's less than ideal, yeah. So what's the plan? Well, they've said, provisionally, that if next month's issue gets published, they'll be willing to wait on repayment. Then there's no problem. The issue's coming out, guaranteed. But they're not going to take my word on that anymore. I'm going to need to prove it. If we could fill, say, half of the 12 pages by the time they show up, I could probably convince them. Alright, Minorikawa said warily. So for starters, we need 6 pages by 4 o'clock. They had to get all 12 pages done as it was. That made a perfect midpoint to shoot for. Any other problems you'd like to let me know about? No, Toyama said. No, that's all. I really am sorry about this, Minorikawa. Again, he bowed his head low. Minorikawa felt distinctly awkward. He had known Toyama for years and had never been kowtowed to like this before. Yeah, well, just let me handle it, alright? Norikawa unfolded a map of Shibuya. The first order of business was deciding where to begin getting content. He marked the editing office with a circle, then considered where to head to next. Diet drink sales demo, Center Guy. Where are they now? Sakura Goka Theater Ace. Society of Surveillance, Dogenzaka Endo Electronics. Sexy Squared, Midoriyama Academy. Shibuya Vigilantes, location to be determined. The diet drink sales demo was at 1 o'clock. And the interview with Shinosuke Owarai, or Where Are They Now, was slated for 2:30, so those times were set. The question was what to do in the interim. Little early, go to Center Guy. It was a little early, but maybe he should just go to Center Guy and start gathering material about the diet drink sales demo. Once the event started, things might be too busy for him to get any face time. If he got there ahead of time, he'd be able to ask more questions. Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about doing anything else stupid while I'm gone. Got it. Norikawa tossed the draft proposal into his bag and hurried out of Heaven Publishing. Preparations for the Burning Hammer diet drink sales demo seemed to be well underway when he arrived at the Nokane building. Minorukawa could hear voices from somewhere ahead as he made his way down the corridor. He knocked on the door, and a tired-looking man poked his head out. "Yes, can I help you?" "Hi, my name's Minorukawa. I'm a freelance writer. I'd like to interview you about Burning Hammer." "Huh? Oh, an interview!" The man's face lit up with an enormous smile. "Are you the person in charge, then?" Minorukawa asked. "That's me. Name's Junichi Yanashita. Thanks for your interest in Burning Hammer. Drink all you want and just burn those pounds away." Instant sales pitch, huh? Well, at least the guy was confident in his product. "Is that tagline actually true?" Minorukawa asked. "The more you drink, the more you lose?" "Absolutely. Have a try for yourself and you'll see. Here, a free sample." Yanagashita produced a small bottle from his jacket pocket. It was filled with some kind of red liquid. "So this is Burning Hammer, huh?" "Yes, and I don't mind telling you it's a fantastic product." A proud smile on Yanagashita's face spread from ear to ear. Huh. Minorukawa opened the bottle. "Oh, hey," Yanagashita said quickly. "Before you drink that..." "What?" "You're not on an empty stomach right now, are you?" Minorukawa blinked. "What?" "Well, it's just, if you drink the product on an empty stomach, how do I put this? There's some minor health, I mean, it's just the body might not, it's just, Look, don't sweat the details, it's fine," Minorukawa said. "I didn't have any breakfast this morning, but hey." He tipped the tiny bottle back and drained it in a single go. It didn't taste bad, really. In fact, it didn't taste like much of anything. "Not much flavor, huh?" he said. "Well, yeah, it starts out that way in the beginning." Are you feeling alright?" "Alright, how?" "Just, alright. Are you sure you're feeling fine?" "Look, what is it?" Minorukawa asked. "If you want to say something, just say it." "Well, alright then. So it turns out that if you drink it on an empty stomach, some nasty stuff can happen." "Nasty stuff? Meaning what, exactly?" "Well, let's see. First, there's a tingling sensation on the tongue." Indeed, an uncomfortable tingling was starting to spread along Minorukawa's tongue. "After that, your whole body starts to get hot like whoosh." Minorukawa felt a flush spread across his skin. "You'll start sweating all over." Sweat was practically streaming from his pores. "A sort of steam will start coming out of your ears and nose." Water vapor began to gush from his ears and nostrils as if from a kettle that had reached a boil. And finally... Before Minorukawa could hear what the last thing was, his body launched into the air like a rocket. His head crashed into the ceiling and he crumpled right back to the floor. He felt like his heart might shoot out from his throat at any moment. "Yeah, it goes kinda like that," Yanagashita finished. He looked down at Minorukawa with pity in his eyes. "It goes kinda like that? What the hell are you thinking selling something like this?" "Well, it's just... This isn't a diet ad. It's a death trap." Minorukawa shuddered, his whole body racked with pain. "Well, be fair now, I did ask whether or not you were on an empty stomach." "Go to hell, you psychopath. You can't be allowed to sell this poison. I'm taking you down." Clutching his pen as if it were a sword, Minorukawa lurched to his feet, his mind little more than a blur. "Die!" He lunged for his foe. Yanagashita screamed. Over the course of the next 2 hours, Minorukawa chased the diet drink salesman around the building in a berserk haze. When someone finally alerted the police, it took 4 officers to subdue him. And when he finally came to his senses in his detention cell, The 4-star general gossip deadline had long since passed. He turned and faced the wall, muttering to himself. If only I'd eaten breakfast. Go to Endo Electronic. Okay, Osawa Tanaka. Osawa called up Tanaka over the intercom. There's something I want to show you. Could you come in here? He needed a second opinion, and Tanaka could be relied upon. Osawa opened the door the moment Tanaka knocked. He looked around before ushering his vice director inside. What's this about, sir? This. Images. Murder. Another email arrived in his inbox. Osawa furrowed his brow as he scanned the message. Emergency alert. Come to Heaven Publishing ASAP. If not, someone is going to die. Minoru Minorikawa. Heaven Publishing. Minoru Minorikawa. Osawa wasn't familiar with either of those names. He wondered if it was related to the mysterious emails he'd received earlier. Or maybe the sender had some information about the kidnapping. The fact that the message had been signed with a real name instead of a pseudonym, along with its obvious urgency, certainly gave it an air of truth. And the words, "someone is going to die," filled him with a wave of panic. Maria! There was no time to waste. In a rush, he found directions to Heaven Publishing on his computer, then slipped out of the house. It took a good while to find his way to the multi-tenant building. The signs in front showed that Heaven Publishing occupied the 3rd and 4th floors. Osawa took the elevator to the 3rd floor. He peeked inside the offices, there only to find the entire place empty. The 4th floor was likewise deserted. There was a rope dangling from the ceiling, tied off into a noose. It all seemed rather sinister, but Osawa had no idea what it meant. He waited a good 30 minutes, anxious the whole time. The half hour turned to an hour, and then to 2. It seemed that no one was going to turn up. Osawa headed back to the 3rd floor. He decided to wait there for 1 more hour. By now, he was committed. The extra hour turned into 2. Exhausted, he dozed off in his chair, and when he came to, it was close to sundown. Sunset already. He gazed out the window, the haze of sleep still clinging to his mind. He had the feeling he was forgetting something important. but the sight of the sun quietly setting over the cityscape made the crisis of life feel strangely distant. The time of peace and quiet he had longed for was right here. An email. Screwed up one of the addresses. Minorikawa. Who to ask? No time for beggars to be choosers. This was no time for beggars to be choosers. Minorikawa decided to call up Chiaki. The phone rang several times before a sleepy voice finally answered. Hello? Chiaki, hi, it's Minorikawa. Are you free today? Huh? What? She seemed thrown by the abrupt question. Did you just wake up? No, I mean... Well, yeah. Good morning. Her voice still sounded half asleep. So then I'm guessing you don't have any work slated for today, as usual. Pretty much. No work, no money, no food. Nothing to do except sleep. If I'm not awake, I can't dwell on how hungry I am. She didn't sound well, almost like she literally didn't have anything to eat. Well, I've got work for you. I'm over at 4-Star General Gossip. Get over here ASAP. What? You really mean it? That seemed to finally wake her up. Yeah, but hurry. Minorikawa decided he'd assign Chiaki to the Shibuya Now piece. I want you to start by getting interviews off the street around Shibuya Station. Street interviews? Chiaki's voice came out as a nervous squeak. But, Mr. Mino, Street interviews aren't really my, Kid, you were just telling me how you couldn't afford to eat. Can you really afford to be picky right now? Well, I mean, I guess not. The piece is called Shibuya Now. Just interview at least 10 people and get me an article by 6 o'clock. Okay. He quickly explained the kind of interviews he was after and then hung up. Okay, I got us another writer. We'll get through, Toyama, somehow. Toyama shrugged gloomily. Thing is, there's actually one more problem. Debt collector. So we're going to end electronics. It was a bit of a hike, but maybe he should go to Dogenzaka and check out Endo Electronics. Yeah, that should give him what he needed to put together the Society of Surveillance piece. Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about doing anything else stupid while I'm gone. Got it? Minorikawa hustled out of the editing office, hoping Toyama would take his admonition to heart. A taxi came by just as Minorikawa stepped outside. Huh? You again? It was Kimizuka's taxi again. What can I say? I know how to sniff out a guy who's going places. Really? Well then, Dogenzaka, ASAP! Son of a bitch. Minorikawa bristled. I beg your pardon? That son of a bitch you wanted to give a piece of your mind, sir. Was he waiting for you like you expected? Oh, yeah. And I damn well did give him a piece of my mind, too. Glad to hear it, sir. The taxi sped off. Minorikawa pulled out the proposal and looked it over again. The idea for the surveillance story revolved around the claim that hidden cameras had been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts, upwards of 500 of them. Supposedly, this had eliminated lots of blind spots, and the crime rate in the area had dropped significantly. The cameras were managed by Daisuke Endo, the owner of Endo Electronics and chairman of the local downtown committee. That was Minorikawa's first mission, then. He needed to get this guy's story. Scanning the side of the road, Minorikawa finally spotted a rundown electronics shop. The sign out front, which looked like it might fall off at any moment, read Endo Electronics. Right here's fine. The taxi stopped, and Minorikawa pulled a 10,000 yen bill from his wallet. Keep the change, he said. What? Look, don't sweat it. The name's Minoru Minorikawa, and I'm a freelance writer. I care about two things, what's real and what's true. There's real worth to what you've done for me. That there's a token of my appreciation. It's not much, but please take it. Minorikawa slid out of the taxi and headed for the electronics store. Inside, Endo Electronics looked more like a mountain of hoarded junk than an actual business. Towering piles of ancient appliances stretched toward the ceiling. Old television sets with dial knobs leaned against computers with 5-inch floppy drives. What possible use could there be for all this outdated stuff? Mr. Endo, are you in here? Minorikawa called out. Nobody came to greet him. The shop was definitely open, though. Surely the proprietor hadn't left it unattended. Hey, Mr. Endo! Come on, I know you're in there. After a short wait, Minorikawa heard sounds from the living space behind the shop. A door opened to reveal a tired-looking middle-aged man. Yeah, what do you want? Are you Mr. Endo? Minorikawa asked. I am, the man said guardedly. And I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of something at the moment. Could you come back tomorrow, or... Please, just give me a minute. I'm a freelance writer. Name's Minorikawa. Minorikawa showed Endo his business card. I'm writing an article for 4-Star General Gossip. A magazine piece, huh? Precisely. So if I could just have a little of your time today. The phone rang, cutting him off before he could get down to business. I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me for a moment. Endo reached into the clutter and pulled out a telephone. Hello, Endo Electronics. The proprietor listened for a moment, then raised an eyebrow. Yeah, that's a problem, all right. All right, understood. I'll try and get a hold of the customer, then. Endo set the receiver back down. What was that all about? Minorikawa asked. Oh, yesterday I sold a dry ice machine. And the manufacturer just called to let me know the model is defective. Defective? Apparently, once it starts making dry ice, it won't stop. I need to tell the customer I have to recall the machine and refund their deposit. Please give me a moment. Endo sifted through some sales slips, read a number off of one, and made a phone call. Nobody picked up on the other end, however. That's right, he grumbled to himself. He said they had some performance today. Performance? Minorikawa asked. I sold it to a guy from some theater troupe. They're called the Wandering Angels or something. The Wandering Angels. That was Shinosuke Arai's theater troupe. Minorikawa had an interview with him booked for 2:30. Anyhow, what can I do for you? Minorikawa hastily explained what he was after. Endo gave him a dubious look. As I said earlier, I'm a bit busy right now. Busy cleaning up, I hope. How do you get anything done in this mess? Why, you... Are you this rude to all your interview subjects? 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes of your time, please. You've got to be joking. Go on, get the hell out of here. Endo headed for his back room in a huff. Fine, then I'll just have to write about what you've already told me. Namely, that Endo Electronics sells defective merchandise. Huh? Just what are you implying? Did you or did you not sell that theater troupe a defective piece of equipment? Look, I'm gonna get in touch with them as soon as... I'm betting they're in a hurry preparing for their performance. I doubt you'll be getting through to them today. Endo bit his lip. Now that I have your attention, Minorikawa said, let's make a deal. What kind of deal? I'm meeting with a member of the Wandering Angels a little later today. I can let them know about the dry ice machine for you. In exchange, all you have to do is give me my interview. Endo scowled. And where's your proof that you'll be meeting with the Wandering Angels? I might take advantage of a guy when he's down, Minorikawa replied, but one thing I'm not is a liar. The shopkeeper took a few moments to think about it. Fine, he grumbled. 5 minutes, that's all you get. Minorikawa whipped his notepad out of his coat like he was drawing a gun. Then let's get right down to it, shall we? Go right ahead. So I hear that over 500 surveillance cameras have been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts. Yes, that's right. Why so many? We used to have a lot of delinquents in town. Endo said the word with marked distaste. Oh yeah, I remember there being some problem kids around. They were real punks. They vandalized my signs, made a mess of my storehouse. They were just awful. I see. Minorikawa scribbled diligently in his notepad. Heck, my own son put together a sort of vigilante squad to help teach those punks a lesson. Wait. Vigilante squad? Whoa, hold up right there for a sec. Minorikawa jutted out his hand to interrupt. This guy's son was part of the vigilante squad. What a stroke of luck. Maybe he could also provide some info for the article on the gangs of Shibuya. Sorry, I don't mean to get too far off topic here, but can you tell me the name of the group your son belongs to? They call themselves SOS. Prided themselves on being the top gang in Shibuya and all that. The top gang in Shibuya. Did I really just hit the jackpot right here? Not to pat myself on the back, but go me. All I have to do is step outside and the story finds me. I think I might be a natural at this. As it happens, I'd also like to interview people from SOS. Would you be able to put me in touch with your son? Yeah, sure. But you should know that my son isn't in the gang anymore. Do I jump here? Okay, jump. You tell me, look. There it was. A blue van had appeared nearby, parked in a spot that had been empty previously. Achi couldn't see who was inside, but there was definitely something fishy about it. Besides, there weren't any other blue cars around, so this had to be it. He'd been right, the crooks had come back after all. "I'm gonna go take a quick look," Achi said. "You wait here." But before he could carry out his plan, Hitomi jumped to her feet. Without a word, she rushed toward the van. "Hold on, I said wait!" She wasn't slowing down. Achi caught hold of her arm. "Wait! This could be dangerous. What if the kidnapper's in there?" "And what if my sister's in there? I have to go help her!" Achi knew full well what it was like to be impulsive, but this was one situation where cooler heads would have to prevail. "We can't just hang out here. We can't just hang out here," she insisted. "What if the car takes off again?" "That's why I said I was gonna go take a look first." "But isn't that dangerous? What if they do something to my sister because some random guy keeps snooping around?" "Oh, huh. Yeah, you got a point." Achi thought as fast as he could. The criminal told Hitomi to get into the van. There had to be some specific reason for that. What if they were planning to abduct her as well? Whatever the case, he couldn't just let her go. He had to make a snap decision. Let's go together then? Let's go together then. Does that work for you? Please, we have no idea who or what we might run into. Hitomi gave a slight nod. "Alright," she said. "But let me go first and you follow, okay?" "Got it," Achi replied. Achi waited as Hitomi started walking, then followed her at a distance, so it wouldn't look like they were together. She headed straight for the van. Two men got out of the car, neither of them Japanese. Achi picked up his pace in case he needed to close the distance fast. One of the men approached Hitomi and said something to her. She gave an affirming nod. Suddenly, the two men grabbed her from either side. They dragged her to the van and shoved her into the back seat. Achi broke into a sprint. Of course it was a trap. He couldn't guess what their whole plan was, but kidnapping Hitomi was obviously part of it. But before he could reach the vehicle, the doors slid shut. The van sped off an instant later. Achi raced after it. He ran as hard as he could, thinking of nothing else. He couldn't give up now. Couldn't let things end like this. He'd made a promise. No quitting halfway. And no turning his back on someone in trouble. But the car kept getting further and further away. Before long, it was just a blue speck that vanished into the cityscape. No! Achi never saw Hitomi again. Yee. Alright, that's all the bad endings. What do I do next? Minorikawa. Sun. Sure, you should know my son isn't in the game anymore. Oh, Minorikawa hesitated. Guess he's of no use to me then. Oh, believe me, I know how you feel. The look on Endo's face spoke volumes. There was no point in interviewing Endo's son if he wasn't with the gang anymore. I'd figured that Minorikawa's run of good luck would end eventually. Still, he'd gotten a lead in the form of a name, SOS. That was progress. Alright, so back to the matter at hand. He flipped his notepad back open. What did you decide to do with all those juvenile delinquents? I set up a tiny little web camera in order to protect my property. I see. And I'm guessing the webcam did the trick? Sure did. And so then other local businesses heard about it and started asking me to install some for them. Web cameras aren't particularly expensive, so it wasn't too tough to set them all up over downtown. So who's in charge of these security cameras? Members of the downtown business committee take turns. The cameras are connected via a wireless network that business owners can access throughout the area. LAN. How's your security for this wireless network? Oh, no problems on that front. Endo seemed surprised at the question. All the footage sent over the network is fully encrypted. But still, people can't feel too good about being recorded on camera without their knowledge, don't you think? Minorikawa asked. The shopkeeper's expression darkened. We hope to strike a balance between crime prevention and protecting individual privacy. Uh-huh. And who determines what that balance is? Minorikawa let a note of challenge slip into his voice. That would be me. I've been entrusted with the management of the security cameras. I see. So essentially, you're providing your own moral oversight. Are you implying that I'm abusing my authority? Endo shot back. I'm doing this in the name of public order. Right, you've had your 5 minutes. Now get out of here. The shopkeeper stood up and headed into the back. I'll be sure to let the Wandering Angels know about the dry ice machine, Minorikawa hollered at the closing door. Endo didn't reply. Minorikawa had gotten enough of a story to put an article together, so he decided to hurry to a coffee shop and get started on some coffee. He was making his way down along Dogenzaka when his cell phone rang. The incoming call display showed Chiaki's name. Chiaki, what's going on? Oh, it's no use. She sounded like she was on the verge of tears. What's no use? I can't do this. I just can't talk to people passing by on the street. What? Why not? It's just that everyone seems so busy when they're walking past. If I try to interrupt them, they're gonna be all mad at me. Well, who the hell cares if they get mad? Norikawa was ready to start ripping his hair out. I don't want them to be mad at me, she whimpered again. Well, this wasn't about what she wanted, was it? She was supposed to be working, not whining. Look, Chiaki, you need to get me those interviews, period. Do I make myself clear? He hung up before she could squeeze in an objection. Damn it, Norikawa muttered. Just what I needed. One more thing to worry about. He pulled at his hair a few times and cast his worried gaze in the direction of Shibuya Station. Achi. Let me go first. Look, just let me go first. I don't want to put you at any risk. Hitomi's determination wavered at the look in Achi's eyes. Please, he continued, we have no idea who or what we might run into. If I think they're gonna try to run off again, I'll give some signal. Then you can come along, and I doubt they'll be interested in leaving then. Hitomi gave a reluctant nod. Please, be careful. Will do. And tell me if my sister's in there. I will. You can count on it. Ashi stepped out into the open and started walking towards the van. He tried his best to look as if he wasn't paying any attention. Yep, I'm just an ordinary passerby. As he got nearer, he tried to sneak a glimpse inside. The van's dark window film made it hard to see who might be inside or even how many people. Casually, he moved closer still to get a better look. Suddenly, the sliding door burst open and several people jumped out. None of them were Japanese. Within moments, Achi was surrounded. Whoa, what? Hey, what's the deal? Achi said. He let out a little chuckle. Man, that thing must be packed. How many seats you got in that thing anyway? He took another step toward the vehicle and looked inside. One of the men pulled a knife from inside his jacket, thrusting it out in Achi's direction. He probably meant it as a simple threat, but on reflex, Achi went into self-defense mode, kicking him right in the jaw. There was a loud crack as his foot connected. The man dropped out like a light. Two others stared, then rushed him. Well, this sure hadn't gone as planned. Too late to take it back now. The damage was done. Achi was just going to have to take out the rest of these punks too. He nimbly shifted his feet, evading their initial attack. Having to take these guys on 3-1 wasn't going to be pretty. Achi! He heard Hitomi cry out. Crap. He hadn't given any signal, but she had come out of hiding anyway. Hitomi, stay back! How was he supposed to fight off 3 guys and protect her at the same time? What could he do? What should he do? Within moments, a number of passers-by had gathered around the fight. Maybe they heard Hitomi shouting. Hey, what's going on? Oh my god, is that a knife? This ain't some petty squabble. Someone call the police! Some of them began taking photos with their cell phones. One of the men cursed in frustration, then signaled for his buddies to get back into the car. Achi couldn't stop them. The engine roared to life and the van sped away. Knowing he'd never catch them on foot, Achi merely watched it go. He'd failed. This was his fault. All of it. Achi bit his lip hard. How could he possibly face Hitomi now? Achi... Hitomi's voice was hollow, empty. Achi stared down at his feet like a scolded child. I'm sorry. I didn't see whether your sister was in there or not. I see. The words, so simple and matter-of-fact, stung him to the heart. I'm so sorry. But Hitomi simply shook her head. The fact that she wasn't even chewing him out made him feel all the worse. I know I messed up, but He was going to say, I'll make up for it, somehow, but he froze with fear at what he saw next. Across the street, staring at them, was the man with the cane. Hitomi, it's him! They had to get out of here. He grabbed Hitomi by the hand and bolted down Dogenzaka. The assassin followed, staying on his side by the road. Achi wasn't sure what to do. Should they try heading into the alleys and side streets again? No, it was more dangerous to head someplace where there'd be fewer witnesses. Best to stick to Dogenzaka for now. The man wouldn't be able to gun them down if they managed to lose themselves in the crowd along Center Guy first. Besides, the guy had to use a cane. Achi and Hitomi could outrun him. Hand in hand, they sped along Dogenzaka and through the intersection in front of the 109 building. Come on, Hitomi, just a little further. Okay. She was panting, but she pressed on. Hachi risked a glance back over his shoulder. Huh? He stopped in surprise. What's wrong? Hitomi asked. That guy, he's not following us. The slope leading down to the intersection wasn't all that steep. It was strange that the gunman hadn't bothered to pursue. Still, there was no time to worry about his behavior right now. Hitomi, can you still run? Yes, I'm alright. Then this is our chance. This way. They needed to put plenty of distance behind them before the assassin came after them again. But they also needed to find the van again and rescue Hitomi's sister. Would they be able to find it and yet stay hidden from the man with the cane? Hachi wasn't sure one way or the other, but with Hitomi in tow, he hurried onward along such a guy. Okay, Kano. Kano decided to look away nonchalantly. Anxiety got the better of him. Kano had seen Sasayama disguise himself as plenty of things throughout the years: Santa Claus, Yakuza member, Japanese folk singer, and a Buddhist priest to name a few, but this was a new extreme even for him. When he first joined the force, he thought it was amusing. Concentrate, keep your eyes peeled. Sasayama gave Kano a pat on the backside and slipped away into the next car. The suspect, meanwhile, was still staring out the window. The announcer's electronic voice filled the train compartment. Next stop, Harajuku. Next stop, Harajuku. Huh? Kano almost cried out. The suspect was moving towards the exit door. Apparently he was only taking the train one station down the line. The train pulled into Harajuku station and the man got off. The detectives following him disembarked accordingly. The suspect walked along the platform and took a seat on an empty bench. Was he checking to see if he had a tail? Sticking around on the platform at a station where he just got off was pretty unusual behavior. Not wanting to arouse the man's suspicion, investigators from the MPD made their way down the stairs as inconspicuously as they could. Kano, however, had a sudden inspiration and went to speak to one of the station attendants. Sorry to bother you, but I think I left something in the train just now. He tried to keep an eye on the man on the bench as he fed his story to the attendant. The suspect sat silently on the bench, a tache case clutched securely in his arms. He didn't really look like he was checking for a tail. Was he waiting here for someone else then? Before long, a train heading counterclockwise around the loop arrived. The man rose from the bench and stepped up to the boarding area. Wait, what the heck? If this guy got on the counterclockwise train, wouldn't that just take him right back to Shibuya Station? The man boarded the train. Kano had no choice but to follow suit. Was this guy playing them? The suspect got off again once the train reached Shibuya. All he'd done was go to Harajuku and come right back. Kano reported in to Kuze. The suspect has returned to Shibuya Station. Acknowledged. Keep tailing him. Kano felt himself growing increasingly paranoid. This criminal organization didn't seem too keen on getting away. And here was HQ giving these guys free rein. Something was off, he was sure of that. As he tailed the mark, Kano took out his phone. What were Tateno's instincts about the case right now? If the senior detective had any advice, Kano would love to hear it. He dialed Tateno's number. The line rang a few times, but nobody picked up. Probably he was too busy seeing to Itomi's safety. Kano felt bewildered. They'd been letting the suspect lead them around for over an hour now. During an abduction case, you generally didn't update the victim's family on any developments in case they tried to interfere. Kano could only imagine what the Osawa family was going through right now. After a short walk from Shibuya Station, the Itachi case was handed off yet again. This time, the recipient was a tall, dark-skinned man. Again, the Shibuya-based task force split into two groups in order to tail both suspects. Kano stuck with the man who had the case. As the previous man had done, the newest suspect wandered around Dogenzaka for a while. Repeatedly looping around and around the same locations was a weirdly roundabout way to make a series of handoffs. "Excuse me, detective." Kano turned around with a start. "Oh, hey," he said. "I know you." It was Leyland Palmer, the lecturer who'd been an eyewitness to the kidnapping. The man practically radiated concern. "How's Maria doing? Is she alright?" "I'm very worried for her." His Japanese was more halting now. "My heart, it is with her family." Kano gave a quick look around. It didn't appear that they were being watched. Maybe Palmer knew more than he knew. Maybe Palmer knew more than he told the police earlier. If Kano talked to him now, he might get some additional clues. "Actually, Leland, do you mind if I ask you a few more questions about the party when the kidnapping occurred?" Leland squared his shoulders. "No, please, ask anything." "Do you know what time Maria showed up at the event?" Leyland hesitated, thinking. "Probably around 6 o'clock. She was there when it started." "Was there anyone else there who stood out?" "Stood out? How?" "Like someone you usually wouldn't expect to see there." Leland tilted his head. "No, I don't think so. Everyone there was a student from my class, including the exchange students." Not much new here, Kano thought. He decided to ask one last question. "Did you happen to hear why Hitomi was running late in the first place?" "Oh no. Sorry, I'm not very helpful, am I?" Leyland dipped his head in apology. "It's alright. Thank you for your cooperation. Please help Maria." "I will." Kano parted ways with Leyland and went back to tailing his suspect. He pulled his phone from his pocket. It was Rumi again. It was weird that she'd called twice when she knew he was in the middle of something important. Had something happened while she was waiting at the cafe with Shizuo? Kano picked up hurriedly. "What's the matter?" "What's the matter? You know what the matter is." Rather than Rumi's soft soprano, it was a threatening masculine voice that came over the phone. Uh-oh. Kano felt his whole body stiffen with dread. Is this my father-in-law speaking?" "Don't remember being anyone's father-in-law." The speaker's tone was firm and flat. "No, I know, I just, Kano found himself at a loss for words. "So, you're dating my daughter, huh?" "Sir, yes, sir." Kano barely squeaked out his reply. Thinking about getting married? Yes, sir. And speaking of which, I'd love the chance to sit down and have a nice long... Then how long are you gonna keep me waiting? Hurry up and get your ass over here. Oh, how very much Kana wished he could do exactly that. Sir, I would, but... Forget it. The words came in an angry huff. You can't have her. Goodbye. What? Sir, please, wait. As Kano cried in desperation, he heard Rumi's voice on the other end of the line. Dad, you can't just use my phone like that. You were taking too long in the bathroom. Give it back. Rumi? Kano tried and failed to keep the heartbreak out of his voice. Sweetie, what's wrong? Your father just said he doesn't want us getting married. What? Dad? What did you say to my boyfriend? Listen to you. Calling that boy little pet names and whatnot. I think you're a little too attached. Daddy, you haven't even met him. That's why I told you to have him come see me. How long's he gonna make me wait? Kana listened as the two argued on the other end of the phone. The phone must be lying somewhere between them. Could this get any more awkward? Rumi, I'm sorry, Kano shouted apologetically into the mouthpiece. This is all my fault. Please, you don't have to fight like this. The phone clattered as Rumi scrambled to bring it to her cheek. No, I'm the one who should be sorry. Sorry for what? Sorry for what? It was Shizuo again, grumbling in the background. You have nothing to apologize for. I'll deal with my father, Rumi said hastily. You just focus on work, sweetie. I know you're in the middle of something really important. Thanks, Rumi. Kano was legitimately touched. I'll do my best. Kano hung up and went back to the task at hand, more determined than ever. For Rumi's sake, not to mention the victims, he needed to focus on cracking this case. The man he was tailing was walking several meters ahead. There was no telling when Kuze might give the arrest order. Kano braced himself to spring into action the very instant the order came down. Mobile command to all units. Once more, the director's voice came in over the wireless. Was it time to make the arrest at last? We've identified the man who first picked up the Itachi case by the statue of Hachiko. No arrest yet then, but still a crucial development. His name is Tariq Al-Karawan. He's got priors for larceny, illegal possession of narcotics, you name it. He belongs to a foreign criminal syndicate that's operating in Shibuya. Kano felt his apprehension rising. If this syndicate was behind the kidnapping, they were anything but amateurs. And though they might be leading the police on a wild goose chase, they certainly weren't playing around. Don't. Osawa. Calling Makno. Close his eyes. Took a nice deep breath. Oh, Mr. Osawa, did you have to make a phone call? The study door had opened and a stolid-faced man had appeared in the doorway. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the detectives from the Shibuya precinct. He struck Osawa as a bit too soft-spoken and meek for a detective, really. And his treatment of the kidnapping case gave an impression of flighty detachment that made him seem rather undependable. No, it's nothing important. Osawa drew his hand back from the phone. Have there been any developments, Detective? Kajiwara shook his head apologetically. I'm sorry to bother you, but when you're finished in here, would you be so kind as to come to the living room? All right, Osawa said quietly. I'll only be a little bit longer. Kajiwara nodded and departed. He took a nice deep breath, and then he dialed up Makino. Has there been any progress? Makino asked as he picked up. His voice was somber. No, Osawa said. Nothing much yet. A tiny sigh came in from the other end of the line. I see. Then what can I do for you? Sir, I'll just get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using the antiviral drug? Makino didn't respond right away. What makes you think that? He asked at last. Osawa described the emails he'd received. When he'd finished, Makino let out his breath in surprise. Not over the phone, he said. We'll discuss this in person. I'll head over to your place when I'm done here. As soon as possible, sir. As soon as I can manage, Makino said. You're not the only person who's busy. With that, Makino hung up. There was no doubt about it. Then there had been human testing. Osawa went to let Tanaka know he'd be meeting with Makino. You're so creepy. Kajiwara stood in the hallway. He looked like he'd been waiting there the whole time for Osawa to come out of the study. Are you hungry? He asked. Here, I've got something that's good for when you're tired. Kajiwara then slipped a hand into his suit pocket. He pulled out a banana. Elvis Presley was a huge lover. I'm fine, thanks, Osawa said. Kajiwara seemed to lack a detective's sense of situational awareness. Just being around him got on Osawa's nerves. Well, sir, I need you to come with me, the detective said. If you don't mind. He took Osawa by the arm. As Kajiwara hurried him toward the living room, Osawa could hear other detectives talking on the other side of the door. He's working at a time like this, seriously. Sheesh, I do not get rich people in their priorities. Yeah, I feel bad for his daughter. Her dad's a real piece of work. Nice, they were bad-mouthing him in his own house. Oh, I'm really sorry about all that, Kajiwara said, pausing in embarrassment. Osawa pushed past him and opened the door. A number of police detectives had holed up in the living room. They went suddenly silent as Osawa entered. So tell me, he said sarcastically, would you rather I stay here weeping as I watch this disaster unfold? The detectives winced and grimaced. Forgive me for not being a perfect father, he added, his hostility building. Kajiwara stepped forward to intervene before things got out of hand. Now, let's not be touchy. I am not being touchy, Osawa snapped. But he knew full well that he was. These guys had the time to sit around backbiting him, but not to go out and bring Maria to safety. Already close to half a day had gone by without any new developments. The ransom demand had come in the previous night at 8 o'clock. Maria had been abducted roughly an hour before. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. by Hachiko in Shibuya. Have the sister Hitomi bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. The kidnapper called only once, so the police were unable to run a trace. I'll do it, Hitomi said. Anything for my sister. She didn't hesitate in the slightest at the suggestion that she make the ransom handoff. Osawa was staunchly opposed to the idea, but the police were of the opinion that it was better to acquiesce to the kidnapper's demands. Acquiesce? Ai's reaction, on the other hand, baffled nearly everyone. We don't have 50 million just lying around. Are the police going to be putting that together for us? Kajiwara stepped in to reassure. If it comes down to it, the police will be able to help raise the money. Okay, go ahead then, do it. We need you to pay it back afterwards though, of course. Well then what's the point of that? Ai's voice spiked up in a piercing shriek. Calm down, Osawa told her. You're making a scene. Ai turned away in a huff. It's alright, detective, Osawa continued. I'll talk to the bank first thing tomorrow morning and figure something out. At that, Ai stormed out of the room. Kajiwara bowed his head several times in apology. As soon as Hitomi has made contact, we'll apprehend the suspect and take things from there. What? Hold on. Will that put Maria in danger? If we let the kidnapper get away with the money, we have no proof that he will return the hostage safely afterwards. There was a certain logic there, Osawa had to concede. I see, he said. So you're saying that catching this guy will be easier for you if he keeps my daughter hostage? No, that's not what I was implying at all. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his brow and bowed profusely. At least, I promise we'll get your daughter back safe and sound, Mr. Osawa. Obviously, there was nothing to be gained from further challenging the detectives. Alright then. I'll let the police do their job. Osawa bowed even lower than Kajiwara had. How long are you going to just loaf around? I shrieked as she stormed into the room. Hurry up and arrest this guy! She was becoming increasingly hysterical. An hour had passed since the suspect had taken the money, and yet the police had made no effort to apprehend him. The police apparently had a rule against discussing an operation before it was fully resolved, and so the Osawas had been left in the dark. But they had overheard the task force talking over the wireless, and it appeared that they were deliberately letting the suspect roam free. Hey, I snapped again. If he gets away with our money, you are going to reimburse us, right? Osawa scowled. She made it sound like the money was more important than Maria's life. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. Osawa chided his wife. It's only money. It doesn't matter. Only money? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how much we're talking about here? The ferocity in her voice left him with no response. He should have known better than to expect her to make sacrifices for his daughters. By now, he was accustomed to Ai's coldness toward the two girls. The twins were Osawa's daughters from his first wife, who had passed away 15 years earlier. Ai had no blood ties to Maria or Hitomi herself. Well, I continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? She glared pointedly at Kajiwara. Well, right now we're focused on making sure Maria is safe. I stormed up to him, shouting right in his face. Stop dodging the question. Answer me. Yes, of course, Kajiwara squeaked. Maybe, would you like something to eat to help you calm down? He held out a banana. I smacked it out of his hand. Oh dear, what a waste. Oh dear, what a waste. Kajiwara scrambled to retrieve the fruit from the floor. Hosada went over to Tanaka and whispered into his ear. I'm going to meet with Mr. Makino. Tanaka nodded silently. Turning, Osawa saw Kajiwara looking in their direction. They made eye contact, but Osawa quickly looked away and strode out of the living room. Kajiwara followed after him. Excuse me, Mr. Osawa? Yes, what is it? The detective fussed sheepishly with his hair and forced a smile. Sir, we'd appreciate if you could remain in the living room as much as possible. Osawa was in no mood to stand on propriety. Look, I've got a ton of work to do, he said. Are you here to tell me to play the role of the grieving father, too? No, not at all. Personally, I happen to think you're an admirable father, Mr. Osawa. Admirable. Did the word have a ring of sarcasm? He had no way to tell if Kajiwara was being forthright with him or not. You're no ordinary fellow, Mr. Osawa. You're a genius. A genius? Me? Osawa made a skeptical noise. Am I mistaken, sir? You've made very important strides in the field of virus research. Or, well, so I've been told. Osawa wasn't sure how to respond. He had never considered himself a genius. He was just someone who was more interested in viruses than he was in other people. Everyone who's a genius is also a little bit odd, after all, Kajiwara went on. Probably he intended that as a compliment, but still. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with weirdos. So long as they leave us ordinary folks alone, you know? Is this guy trying to praise me or insult me? Osawa let out a heavy sigh. Genius, weirdo, what did it even matter? So long as he could be left to his work, he didn't care one whit how he looked in other people's eyes. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his forehead with a handkerchief. By the way, what are you working on right now? He asked. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand even if I explained it to you, Osawa replied. Right, precisely. Even if I gave it my full attention, it would still be beyond me. He peered with sudden intensity at Osawa's face. I'd appreciate if you didn't hide things from me, sir, he said. Osawa gaped, at a loss for words. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kajiwara added hurriedly. Goodness, that made it sound like I'm accusing you of hiding something, didn't it? The detective bowed his head repeatedly. I hope you'll forgive me. He held out the banana. That won't be necessary. How about this, then? This time he pulled a bar of chocolate from his pocket. No, thank you. Did this guy just carry an endless food supply wherever he went? Oh my, Kajiwara murmured. You geniuses really are tough to sort out. He inclined his head, mumbling to himself for a moment. What can I get for you then, sir? What I'd really like is some time by myself. In a daze of exasperation, Osawa felt his way to a study. Locking the door, he finally let out the breath he'd been holding. Then his eyes alighted on the bookshelf against the wall. He pulled out a photo album and began to flip through it. There were pictures of his daughter's grade school enrollment ceremony. Their mother had already passed away from illness, so Osawa had taken the girls himself. He remembered that, after the ceremony, Hitomi had come down with a fever. Hitomi had been rather sickly as a girl, falling bedridden at a drop of a hat. Maria, by contrast, had been lively and energetic, quite the handful. Osawa had found it remarkable that their personalities could be so different despite them being twins. He flipped further into the album. There was a picture of 3 of them at their grade school graduation. Maria was looking away from the camera. Osawa felt like someone had stabbed a dagger in his heart. His daughters, or virology. Which truly concerned him more? Which did he truly love? It was ridiculous to try to compare the two. He'd known the answer before he even asked himself. Even so, human emotions were complicated and sometimes made people act inconsistently. One of the consequences of that was this photo album. This was the last photo he had of Maria. He searched and searched through the rest of the album, but she was nowhere else to be found. Ta-da! Okay, Tama. Which one? How the job started? Somehow I managed to drag myself away from the shop. Just a few minutes later, I ran into Mr. Yanagishita. Hey! Blah 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 blah. Yes! Sorry, Job's already started, you know? And with that, Mr. Yanagishita went about getting me into the mascot suit. Looking back on it, it was a pretty ridiculous turn of events. Still, if I was going to get my hands on that necklace, I had to take the chance that this job would pay out. I doubt we're gonna be able to sell a single body of this crap, Cherry whispers in my ear. I'll just have to do the best I can, I say. I say it more to myself than to anyone else. Once again, I ask myself, why am I in such a rush to get this necklace anyway? I honestly don't know. It's the strangest thing. I try my hardest to think of a reason, but all I get is a dull, aching throb at the back of my head. It's the same pain I felt earlier, as if I've gotten a good bonk on the head or something. Just wait. This little waddle, oh my god. So I'm gonna end it here. Next time we're gonna do the 12 to... I'm just gonna call it 1 o'clock. Cause American. So next time we're gonna start with that. I don't know how long or how far I'll get into it, but we'll see. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next block. Thank you, bye!